We used to edit with a razor blade.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, March 9th, 2023. This is your award-winning Gimbo Nation Media Assassination, episode 1536.
This is No Agenda.
Saving or creating lives twice a week and broadcasting live from the heart of the Texas Hill Country here in FEMA Region number 6. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where the atmospheric river is back, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Wait a minute. I didn't get any news reports about that. Are you drowning again over there?
Supposedly this afternoon.
Oh, so it hasn't happened yet.
Supposedly this afternoon we're going to get 4 inches.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot for California. You know what
we
you
won't
get?
get anything. It's always bull crap.
What do you mean? Well, how about L.A.? It's always fun when they get 4 inches.
Well, they because it all washes out to sea.
Yeah.
You know, they got that
mudslides.
They don't even bother with cisterns or reservoirs or anything. They just hell at it.
Yeah.
Then they bitch.
Yeah.
I think it's time that we all decided that let's give up on this, especially in California, on this problem with the homeless, and just develop some land and let the favelas, let the shanty towns crop up. Usually outside the airport's a good place for them, so people coming and going.
Where's this coming from? How do we get from the atmospheric river to the homeless favelas?
Because this river is going to knock a lot of these homeless tents down.
You're the worst. You're the worst.
Well, how am I the worst?
You want people who are unhoused to drown and be washed out to sea.
No, I don't want them to. That's what I'm saying. That's why we have to give them some land. Create a shanty town. Usually outside the airport's a good place because nobody ever wants to be in the, where the airport is.
No, of course
so
not.
Surround the airport with shanty towns in California.
Mm-hmm.
Let them build their own thing. A lot of them are architects out of business. Unemployed architects. They can help.
I'm sure they are. Speaking of homeless, Tina and I went to Austin last night to East 6th Street, also known as Dirty 6, and we're stepping over homeless people on a 2-block walk from the parking garage to Joe Rogan's Comedy Mothership, his new club that he just opened.
Did you get comped?
Oh, did I get comped? Oh, my goodness. There's one thing I know about Joe Rogan. He likes hospitality.
Yeah.
So
you got a bottle of champagne then?
No. Hold on a second. We got immediately picked up at the minute we showed up at the door. People ushering us in, and I knew a number of the people who work there because it's like his bodyguard team or whatever. Really VIP all the way. Special VIP balcony. Free drinks with someone who would come and serve us the whole time. So we weren't just sitting in the club. No, we were VIP at the top. So it's more than just...
So you weren't mingling with the peasants?
No. In fact, there are 2 balconies, and I look over to the right, and guess who's sitting over there with his wife? You'll never guess. But give it a shot.
Abbott.
No. Alex Jones.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah. So we went over. We went over. We said hi to him. He's like, hey, man, don't believe half of the shit you hear is bullshit. It's not true. I said, Alex, dude, it's me. It's okay, all right? I know how this is. Yeah, but talk a lot of shit about me. When you coming back on?
Did Rogan do a set?
Yes, he did. He closed out the whole night. We didn't get home until well after 1 o'clock because Joe probably went until 11:15, and then right away we were like, okay, we'll leave. We walk off the balcony. He's right there. Hey, come on, let's go sit down in the green room. And then they have another special bar inside this place, which is called Mitzi's Bar, which is named after Mitzi from the Comedy Store. In fact, I think most of the staff he took from Los Angeles brought them in, the Comedy Store staff. So these people know how to run a comedy club. And it was packed, 250 people, I think. It's in the old Rich Theater. I was very impressed. Looks amazing inside. And
any woke comedy?
Anti-woke comedy, all of it. it was kind of interesting, a little bit down the middle. But if you just wanted to feel like anybody woke or not woke could sit in that audience, because there's no cell phones, right? They lock up your cell phones. So, you can't be recording anything, can't get anything out there. By the way, so we're talking to Alex Jones. He's like, oh, yeah, man, it's great. Roseanne was here last night, and I had her on the show this afternoon. She's great. She lives out there in Fredericksburg near you, and she loves you. She's a big fan, big fan. I'm like, what? Roseanne Barr is a big fan and lives in Fredericksburg? Yeah. I'm like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, consider we've never seen a donation from her.
Well, here's what happened next. So before the show, before everything starts, we're chatting with Joe. He's giving us a little tour. And I guess Roseanne had performed last night, which was really the first night, but it was kind of like a soft launch to get figure out how everything works and the staff to get used to stuff. And so she performed. And so we're talking, and she shuffles up to him. By the way, Roseanne Barr is tiny. Have you ever met her?
Can't say that I have, no.
I would say she's not even 5 feet, which it was really weird. You see Roseanne, you just think, no, she's like 5'11". I don't know. It was very surprising. And so she's like, hey, and she's talking to Joe. Hey. And she said, oh, Joe said, this is Adam Curry and Tina Curry. And she turns to me, has no idea who I am. So much for the big fan.
So much for being a big fan.
But here's the embarrassing moment. So I reach out to shake her hand, and it's like, like you misgrasp, and she's like shaking my wrist. And I like try to pull back to shake her hand. She says, no, this is how I shake hands. So she shakes wrists. It was embarrassing, kind of.
She may have had that an ailment I once had, which is a handshake. Politicians pick it up. It's a tendonitis in the very bottom of your palm. It's extremely painful.
Oh, okay. Because all I could think of was, wow.
Because that's not uncommon to catch, especially if you. I don't know. I got it when I was an air pollution inspector. I was shaking too many hands, I guess. And
taking bribes. Hey, pass off some dough.
The shaking hands is different than taking bribes.
Oh, okay.
Use the other hand for that.
Oh, okay.
So
behind the back. I got it.
And once you pick this little ailment up, it is ridiculously painful. It takes about 6 months to get rid of it.
Well, anyway, I thought it was like a Howie Mandel thing. Like, all right. So anyway, and she did not perform, and I look at Tina like, she had no idea who I am. She's no fan. I don't even know if she lives out here in Fredericksburg. Now I have to doubt everything. So
who was it that gave you the bum steer?
Alex Jones. Yeah. He had her on the show.
Don't believe everything you say.
So then we're sitting there, and we got a little table there, and it's a fantastic view. And behind me, all I hear is ha. Who was that? Oh man,
who was who?
No, I'm asking you. Who do you think that was? Man, you're being you need to. Okay, back in the day when we used to start the show, you would take the damn thing off the hook. Now
I usually do.
Now that happened last show too, and I think what's
happening. No, it never happens on Sunday.
Seeing as it's a Thursday, it happened on the last show. It did. It happened on the last show.
It happened maybe on the last Thursday show. So let's get back to the story. The phone stopped ringing.
So behind me, the whole evening, while people are on stage,
how many how many layers deep is the balcony?
2. I mean, yeah, it's like we're in the front, and the person may even have been standing. I don't know if the person had a seat, because I didn't want to look around. I'm like, and it would be completely quiet in the club, and the comedian saying something, and then you would say, Tina can do it better than I can.
Dick Cheney.
No, it was Roseanne Barr the whole time.
That's funny.
The most annoying chuckle you've ever heard. Truly, truly insane. Anyway.
Yeah, she does the same chuckle on her show.
Yeah, but I've never, it was jarring kind of, just like, it was one of those, if I was in a movie theater, I would have turned around and said, could you shut up? But I knew that it was going to be someone of some standing, but it was as annoying to me as when I flew
the
on
phone ringing.
No, well, no, not quite. When I flew on the Concorde.
Here we go.
And back in the good old days when there was Concorde to be handed out, and it was the first time I flew on Concorde, and I was from London to New York City, and Liza Minnelli was behind me, drunk.
Oh God!
Yeah.
But I repeat myself.
So, I'm sorry to say, but if you want me to prove it to you, literally, I have the transcript here. The phone rang on Sunday, just so you know.
On Sunday?
Yeah, on the last show, 1535.
I don't remember it ringing on Sunday.
Yeah, and we even talked about the robot voice and the police benevolent society.
Yeah, no, I know about talking about that.
Yeah,
but
well, we didn't. It didn't come out of the blue. It's okay.
It came out of our typical AI conversation.
No, okay. All right, fine. So it's okay.
It says in the transcript that the phone rang.
Yeah, we're talking about the phone. I just clicked it away. Trust me.
No.
Well, trust me on this. We have to stop the vasectomy talk. I'm getting too much grief.
I was going to maybe bring it up, which is, I'm sorry that I don't think it's a negative thing necessarily.
Oh, people are like, hey man, pump the brakes on the vasectomy talk, okay? Even my periodontist.
I think probably half of our audience has had a vasectomy.
I think so too.
I think so.
It's really bizarre. Here, what did Mitch, my periodontist, say? He said, I'm just listening to the show. It's great. I don't appreciate you making fun of my vasectomy face. I'm like, oh. And
I guess the art didn't help.
So no. So I sent him a lot of scissor emojis. And he says, by the way, it helps accentuate my soft skin and plump body. So he at least got the joke. But yeah, I am surprised. I think during COVID, it has something to do with COVID, because we've been talking about vasectomy face for years and years and years. And now all of a sudden, people are all pissed off about it. So I think that...
Oh, that's interesting. You're right. We have been talking about this probably since the inception of the show.
Maybe even, yeah. Maybe.
So why now? Well, I don't think the art helped. Thank you, Roger. I don't think the art helped.
I think the art was dynamite. was absolutely my favorite. I loved it. It was so good.
But
oh man,
yeah, people are getting sensitive. I wonder what. There's some element. There's something happening.
Yes.
Okay, onward with the show.
Oh, this is all part of the show. All right, well, let's talk about how right I am. How about that? Should we do that? I like talking about that.
Oh, that's what you want to talk about. But no, let's talk about Ukraine.
Okay.
An aide to Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has denied that Kyiv was involved in the destruction of the Nord Stream gas pipelines. The undersea pipelines, which brought Russian natural gas to Germany, were blown up last September. US and German media, citing US intelligence, have reported a pro-Ukrainian group may have carried out the attack. The Kremlin, meanwhile, has dismissed the allegations as a, quote, attempt to rig the news.
So, this was a very interesting little thing that came out, this new article in the Times and Die Zeit simultaneously saying that, pay no attention to anything we've said previously, and certainly pay no attention to Seymour Hersh. No, this was a group that falsely rented a yacht with false passports, and they blew it up.
Well, luckily, France 24 actually had the guy who did the original reporting.
Yeah.
On their debate show, and I took 3 clips off it. It went on for an hour.
Good.
But the guy, the New York Times took some credit, and the Washington, no, they all stole the stuff from this guy.
Okay.
So so the reporting all came out of Germany.
Yes.
And here this is the best rundown. This is 3 clips from France 24 on one of their specials that had this guy and 4 other people that were on to kind of counter whatever he had to say, including an American woman from the Marshall Fund who just went on about how Russia really did it, and it's all bullcrap.
Of course.
So
let's go to Pipeline 1.
So who did sabotage the Nord Stream pipelines? Without much proof to go on? Pundits could only root for the version that suits their cause. Now, though, German investigators revealed they have found traces of explosives aboard a yacht that may have carried the charge that last September knocked out the undersea conduit that supplies Russian gas to Europe via the Baltic Sea. It's an active investigation. Berlin warns not to jump to hasty conclusions. We'll go over the facts and possible motives to once and for all severed Europe's dependency on the Kremlin for its energy. Was it a false flag operation by Moscow to show strength and spite for the suspension of those gas imports? What about the recent claim by veteran American journalist Seymour Hersh that gas producers Norway and the U.S. somehow colluded? And now come these latest revelations. According to German reports, the yacht had been rented from a company based in Poland that is apparently owned by 2 Ukrainians. We say apparently. Kyiv staunchly denies any part. More broadly, with winter nearly over, we'll ask how Europe's fared without that Russian gas and what life is like without that link to Moscow. Today in the France 24 debate, what to make of the Nord Stream sabotage revelations. With us from Berlin, he's one of the reporters who penned that investigative piece for German public broadcasting and the newspaper Die Zeit. Georg Heil, investigative reporter for television station WDR. Thank you for being with us.
Now, we need to play some backdrop here about the visit that the German president made to Washington.
Yes, 4 days before this came out, the German, this is funny, German Chancellor Scholz, I see nothing. Scholz.
No one under 40, maybe even 50, understands that joke.
I'll bet you half the audience does.
Oh, yeah, well, I guess we're all old then. Hello.
No, I think they're right. They're playing Hogan's Heroes daily on MeTV over the air, and it's been going on for years now.
If you're watching Hogan's Heroes on MeTV over the air, please go throttle yourself. There's got to be one person who does that besides you.
It's a terrific show. Anyway,
yeah, sure.
It's a fantastic. If you look at it, you'd think it was just produced yesterday. It's one of the most advanced shows for something from 1966. It's got widescreen. It's got not 16 by 9, but it's about I think 14 by 9. It's definitely wider than normal 4 by 3.
Yeah.
It's highly produced. It's unbelievable how good that show is. Anyway, you could have just let that slide, So Scholz flies from Berlin to Washington, D.C. for one lone hour, well, I say a little over an hour, to meet with Biden, and then he jumps in a plane and flies all the way back to Berlin. That's a miserable flight. And
well, if it's your own plane, it's a little better than miserable.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's like, there's other things you can do with your life than fly back and forth from Berlin to Washington, D.C. for 1 hour meeting. And what does this meeting tell us?
Well, the meeting tells us there's some coordination, and they were afraid. I guess they're all afraid that everything is bugged, and we have no security. You have to do it in person if you want to communicate something really secret.
I think that's the even though that's not, nobody talks about that. I think that's the point of condemnation for our security state. You can't even make a communication securely without having to meet in person and whisper in each other's ear.
Mm-hmm.
That's pathetic.
Well, as we recall, the last time there was some conversation regarding Ukraine, it was Victoria Nuland, and that whole call got recorded in outstanding quality. That's her famous F the EU comment as they're preparing to determine who goes into the Ukrainian government in 2014. So they're probably a bit wary about it now. But yeah,
I would be.
Yeah. Did they have that in the Oval? Is that where they met?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Okay. I think that thing is bugged too.
And without any assistance or anybody taking notes, which again should be grounds for impeachment, the way things have been going. But so there's nobody in the room except the two of them, and I don't know that. I guess Scholz speaks English, so I guess they could have a conversation. because I know Biden doesn't speak Deutsch.
Biden doesn't speak English either. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he doesn't speak English. Anyway, so we'll go back to this. That was the rundown, the kind of the precursor to what they're going to be discussing. Let's go to clip 2, and we got the reporter on telling you what he knows.
It's a yacht rented under a phony identity that set sail and returned to the German port of Rostock. But they didn't give the boat a good scrubbing, it seems, with investigators Georg Heil finding traces of explosives. What more do we know?
Yeah, the yacht that was apparently involved, or according to the investigators, is allegedly involved in this attack, was rented out from a German company. The German company offered the yacht, and it was rented apparently by a Polish-based company, as you said.
Whoa. Can we put enough apparentlys and supposedlys and all of this stuff in? This is completely filled with without evidence type talk.
Yeah.
From a German company. The German company offered the yacht, and it was rented apparently by a Polish-based company, as you said, or run by 2 Ukrainian nationals. The yacht supposedly left the city of Rostock on the Baltic shore on September 6, and then it was spotted in another German coast village called Wiek one day after that. Later on, there was another localization, possible ex post, close to the Danish island of Christiansø, just off northeast of Bornholm, just on the very spot where one of the Nord Stream pipelines runs. And then later on, this yacht supposedly was returned uncleaned to the German company, and it was as late as January of this year that German investigators identified the yacht and searched it. It was searched on January 18th to 20th, so 2 days, and they apparently found forensic evidence on the table of that yacht. And today, as you said, it was officially confirmed what we've been reporting.
Oh, was it C4? Because I'm sure they got that with their fake passports too, right?
They never said the number of things are left out, and I listened to this thing, went on for an hour.
The kind of yacht, the size of the yacht, these types of things.
We don't have the foot length of the yacht. That would be nice, but it can hold 6, so we have to assume it's, and with all the gear for the divers. We don't understand how they got down and up without having to spend a lot of time there, because it takes forever to get back up after you dive that deep, 80 meters. And they don't know the patent.
That's not for the inexperienced diver.
No, but people weren't slouches. I mean, their passports are supposed to be top grade, which makes it sound like our agency did this, which is always possible. They don't know the past. They won't. The police have not revealed the identity, the citizenship of any of these passports or what they claim to be. So they don't know, but they will say it's not Ukrainian, not American, and not Russian.
So it could be German.
I think the German's also eliminated.
Then it would be Swedish, Danish.
It could be anything. It could be Chinese.
And we don't have the thing that they do. It's pretty easy to go back and see what, there's all kinds of radar information, which is how we know about the P-8 that supposedly, according to Hirsch, dropped the detonator buoy into the water. All these boats have identifiers that ping regularly. You can't just be in those waters without pinging, like your ADS or what. I'm not sure what in airplanes it's ADS-B, but it's similar. You can every ship has to have some kind of beacon. So they turned that off, really?
They didn't say.
A lot of holes in the story.
There's a lot of holes in the story. And I'm trying to think of some more holes that they revealed. They revealed most of the holes. But it's not as though these holes can't be plugged. Police just aren't going to give that information out, according to this guy.
But I want to know the forensic evidence of this, because we were told it was C4 explosives. So what did were they just leaving it laying around and left a little bit on the table? I mean, this sounds so wrong.
I think C4 can be identified just in microscopic amounts.
Yeah. I mean, you're not buying into this bull crap, are you?
I'm not buying into anything. I mean, I'm not buying into Seymour Hersh's story either. I'm not buying into any of it. I think the whole thing is we're just being played. but it depends on who's going to do the best job of it. And it's interesting to watch. This is a good one as it unfolds because this would help us get out of this stupid war.
I agree. So just because we had a previous theory we talked about that Seymour Hersh was fed this entire story on purpose to elicit a response from Russia, which of course did not happen. So this could be a total pullback for some reason. I might have some ideas on that. Or it could be a whole competing information source inside the U.S. and German government that just threw this out to get everyone off track altogether. I mean,
well, something's fishy with this appearance of Schultz. I know nothing in Washington, D.C. for one lone hour. I mean, this means that this is being coordinated by somebody. So let's go to clip 3.
There's more in your reporting. 5 men, 1 woman in this team with 2 divers, a minivan, a doctor. Can you tell us more about that?
So according to German police investigation, a white van was used to bring equipment to the yacht in Rostock. We don't know.
Hold on a second. If it's fake passports, how do they know that it was all these different, like a doctor and how did they know that? Did it say that on the passport? Like diver, doctor, woman. Well, woman would be on there.
Good point.
I mean, how do they know?
That specifically was not addressed.
There's more in your reporting. 5 men, 1 woman in this team with 2 divers, a minivan, a doctor. Can you tell us more about that?
So according to German police investigation, a white van was used to bring equipment to the yacht in Rostock. We don't know how they found out about that van, but apparently this is what they believe how it happened.
I just report what they tell me.
And the theory is that the team consisted of 6 people, as you said, 2 divers, 2 assistants. You need a captain for the boat and a medic. And German investigators believe that the woman in the team, that she was the medic. She was described to us as a very tiny person. And the working theory of German police is that this woman was the medic.
Roseanne Barr, maybe.
It is a very dangerous task to go down the Baltic Sea 80 meters, even if you're a professional experienced diver or even a special forces military diver. So you would want to have a medic. That makes sense, this theory. But still, I think it's also very important to add what we don't know. We don't know the official identity, the real identity of those 6 persons. Neither do we know the nationality or whom ordered them to commit this attack. But there was a trace found, another trace. They left a paper trail. 2 documents were used, 2 very highly professional forged documents, apparently passports. That means that German authorities at least possessed pictures of 2 of this team out of 6 persons.
Oh, man. This is... So this could also just purely be a hit job on the Germans. I mean, this whole thing is nuts. It's nuts.
It's just... Yeah, I think you could probably make that assumption. Anyway, it went on. There's a few other details. I didn't want to keep recording these little clips because it was like at some point. And then the other people that were up there, a couple of them, especially this one cynical guy who's British, he says, I think it was him, who says, it's so convenient that they found traces of this explosive. These professionals with these great, unbelievably great forged documents that could sneak in and out. Nobody knows who the hell they are, but they can't clean up the boat. Kind of commentary was very, you'd been good on this panel, by the way.
Well, that would mean
so there's a lot of skepticism on the panel discussing this, and it seems there was brought out one interesting point though, is that it seems as if the Americans and some of the European partners are a little irked with Ukraine anyway after they pulled some stunts. One, blowing up the bridge to Crimea.
Yeah.
That was number 1. That wasn't approved by anybody. Second one, sending some missiles deep into Russia and blowing or hitting an airport. And there's a number of little things that are getting on everyone's nerves. And I think, you know, I gave you credit. I said you won because I still think this is part of an elaborate scheme to get us out.
No, I agree with you. And I think I can back that up. There's a couple other things going on at this very moment, and one that ruins the whole idea. I'll give you that first. Because I think this could end very quickly. I've been saying that for a while, but I think within a month or so, the only thing that all of a sudden goes against that is a Live Aid style gig for Ukraine at Wembley Stadium set for end of June. With, of course, you know, some of your favorites, Bono, Stink, The Stones, The Killers. Who else is going to be there?
The Stones?
Yeah, Rolling Stones, Paul McCartney, Adele, your favorite, Florence and the Machine, Noel Gallagher.
Brother.
Yeah, so that's set for June 24th. So, you know, I'm not quite sure. We could turn it into a victory because whatever happens, just like Afghanistan, just like Iraq, you know, we'll just declare victory. It doesn't matter. But the stage is set with the reporting for exactly what I thought might happen is this whole eastern border, this whole Donbass region, that should just become Russia. That's all Russia ever really wanted, I think, is to have that buffer, people there who want to be part of Russia anyway. And this is what the whole Bakhmut thing is.
After some intense fighting, the battle for Bakhmut may be nearing its endgame. NATO chief says the eastern Ukrainian city could fall to Russia in a matter of days now. Jens Stoltenberg's remarks come as Russia's Wagner mercenary group claims to have captured the eastern bank of the industrial town.
We can not rule out that Bakhmut may eventually fall in the coming days. And therefore, it is also important to highlight that this does not necessarily reflect any turning point of the war, and it just highlights that we should not underestimate Russia.
Now, that's the big warmonger, Jens Stoltenberg, and he is now signaling, well, you know, looks like it's, I don't know, looks like they just might grab that. By the way, I see trolls who clearly are MK Ultra saying, oh, you think Putin's going to stop at that? Yeah, I actually do. I actually do think he's going to stop at that. And they have a pretty big stick.
Why do people come up with this stuff? Well, they're clearly not listening to our show. They haven't really observed anything. They just thought this is some sort of
mind control. It's mind control.
Yeah, by the mainstream media.
And very effective mind control because, you know, babies, women, horrible, death, destruction, Russia, bad. And we've lost many listeners. We've lost many listeners over this who just say, I can't listen to you anymore. You don't understand how dangerous Putin is. Dude, Putin has shown nothing but great restraint, certainly over this particular case, which, you know, this is their export. It got blown up. And so now there's something that's coming to an end this month that may be the catalyst to pull this all together.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky have called for the extension of a crucial deal with Moscow that allows Ukrainian grain exports. Speaking after talks in Kyiv, Zelensky stressed that the Black Sea Grain Initiative was vital for the world. Guterres agreed, saying the agreement was essential to global food security. The deal allows Ukraine to ship grain from its Black Sea ports and Russia to export fertilizer and food. It's set to expire on March 18th, and Moscow has signaled that it might not let the deal continue.
So we're already in negotiations. You know, there's already talks on the table. Just add all the, okay, look, you get the Donbass, you get that region. We open that up for grain. We won. You know?
And there's something else that was pointed out in this debate on French 24. One of the guys said, why would Ukraine do any of this to that pipeline when they could just blow up the pipeline? That pipeline that's going through Ukraine is still going through Ukraine from Russia.
And it's still operating as far as I know.
It's still operating and it's still pumping product.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't they just blow that up?
Well, the reason why is they're out of ammo.
And Ukraine's defense minister has said the EU's plan to supply Kyiv with 1 billion euros worth of ammunition was not enough. Alexei Reznikov says Ukraine needs 4 times that amount. EU defense ministers are meeting in Stockholm to try and hammer out a deal that would see the bloc launch a massive joint munitions buying effort.
Western howitzers on the battlefield, an essential tool in a war that for the moment has settled into an artillery duel between Ukraine and Russia. With Ukrainian forces using up to 7,000 artillery rounds daily, sending ammunition, especially the 155mm NATO standard shells, has become a top priority for Kiev's allies. And a big problem, says defense expert Bruno Lette.
Not only is Ukraine running low on this, also European nations are running out of stockpiles. So our own reserves are running low. So this is a big problem, of course, because we would not be able to deliver.
To ramp up supplies, EU's chief diplomat Josep Borrell has put forward a 3-track plan, proposing an additional 1 billion euros to buy ammunition, joint purchasing of ammunition by member states, and increasing production in the long term.
I think it's a very big deal. I mean, look, the European Union is an institute created for peaceful goals. So we now see that the European Union is moving into the military sphere, and this is the first time in history. It's pretty unique, actually.
The idea is to apply a mechanism similar to the one used during the COVID-19 pandemic, when the European Commission negotiated contracts and acquired vaccines on behalf of member states. Now the European Defence Agency could sign arms contracts on behalf of its members.
So we're achieving a lot, even though, I'll say the European Union is achieving a lot of things. So they put in place a mechanism where Queen Ursula herself ordered, through text messages, negotiated the deal with Pfizer for the vaccines. Now, that framework, as they say, is in place for her to order any type of ammo, as long as it's a standard NATO ammo. So we've got that in place. Well, this is good. And now I'd say that they have already achieved the deal. It's time to let a little pressure off to go into the full-on climate change initiatives that they have been teeing up. And she actually lied. She lied like a mofo when she was in Canada. CBC did an exclusive interview. Listen to what she says about the Russian gas.
When Europe needed natural gas, though, Canada wasn't able to directly meet the demand because of a lack of capacity and infrastructure here, in particular on the East Coast. And Canada's critics internally have said our climate policies and our review process left us unable to meet Europe's needs. What's your sense on that?
Canada helped indirectly because Canada stepped up its production overall. And we had a situation when Russia cut the pipeline gas to Europe, 80% of the pipeline gas they had sent to Europe.
Excuse me? At what point did Russia cut the pipeline, 80% of the pipeline gas to Europe? Am I missing something here? When did that happen? Is she referring to blowing up the pipes?
No.
They didn't turn it off?
Well, if they had turned it off, then when they blew up the pipes, you wouldn't have had all that gas escape.
Well, that was methane, they say.
Well, that's what the gas is.
Well, that was from number 2.
But
my point is, when did Russia turn? That's a lie. I don't think they ever did that.
I get the sense that it came up in the conversation, though. Keep rolling out. No. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, please do.
We had a situation when Russia cut the pipeline gas to Europe.
The pipeline gas, she says it.
80% of the pipeline gas they had sent to Europe. The overall energy supply on the global market was very tight. And here, Canada helped indirectly by stepping up, increasing the LNG production. This freed more resources in different regions of the world and gave us the opportunity to buy LNG on the global market, so to help us in a very critical stage.
By the way, the troll room correctly recognizes my statement is true. Methane gas comes from number 2. Very funny, trolls. It was not intended. You find anything?
Yeah, there was some Russia ready to resume gas supplies to Europe. This is in December of last year, so they had cut it off.
Okay. Well, to continue, what I think the choice the EU may be making is, okay, now we're good to go. We hated gas anyway. Russia cut it off. They're mothballing. You read this term everywhere. They're mothballing the gas pipelines, indicating that they will never come back again. And this means it's time for green hydrogen.
Right, they helped you indirectly, but it would be preferable, I wonder. You talk about Canada being a natural partner for all the reasons you outlined, but to have direct shipments of Canadian liquid natural gas going to Europe, would that not be a preferred outcome?
That would be interesting, but it has to be a business case. So it's the companies who have to decide on that one. What is more important is, over time, this is not the acute crisis reaction. Over time, we will go and we are going deep into renewable energy. And here also, Canada is a prime partner. If you look at hydrogen, for example, this is the topic for the European Union. We will import a lot of hydrogen, and here a natural partner again is Canada. So we are working now on a memorandum of understanding with the Canadian government, specifically for hydrogen, because this is the mid and long-term partnership and relationship we want to build.
I'm glad you asked that question. What I'm learning now, and I'm not sure if Canada is a part of this, but I'm learning that hydrogen, there appear to be large deposits of hydrogen in different parts of the earth, which could be extracted and can be shipped off somehow. I'm not familiar with the mechanism, without going through the whole green hydrolysis process. And Canada, in this case, has a lot of natural gas, so they could be creating what they call blue hydrogen with the natural gas. It's the stupidest thing in the world. But with their gas, so they keep their gas in Canada, use that for electrolysis, and then capture the hydrogen and then ship it off to Europe. And this is also happening in Africa, which kind of explains what's happening. This is a short report.
The future of European energy could rely on Africa. With lots of sunshine and wind, much of the continent is ideal for generating clean electricity or for using it to create another clean fuel, hydrogen. Now, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and Germany have struck a $24 billion deal in Mauritania, where they'll build a hydrogen facility near the capital, Nouakchott. It has a planned capacity of 10 gigawatts. That's the output of roughly 5 to 6 standard nuclear power plants. The first phase of the project is set to be completed by 2028.
So what we're hearing is it's all going to be... Well, hold on.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay. If you could get that much energy from 5 nuclear plants, just use that energy.
I hear you, but it's
green.
They're not going to do that. We all know this.
Instead of using the energy from the nukes, you use the energy from the nukes to make hydrogen. In other words, an inefficient process by comparison.
Yes.
And then ship the hydrogen off, and then the stuff that is a piece of shit anyway because it leaches through everything. It's a horrible product. I've said this before. And okay, now we've just gotten to comedic.
Well, here's the kicker. New Scientist magazine. Gold hydrogen. There appears to be a huge reserve of clean fuel in the Earth's crust. One of the main places this is Mauritania, followed by Senegal, Niger, Guinea-Bissau, and Diallo. This is why everyone's in Africa. They're all going there. It's like, oh, okay, we'll just throw some bull crap solar panels up, but we're really going to grab this hydrogen, ship that back somehow, because it's September 1st, 2022, we first saw this switch from the Green New Deal to the new hydrogen deal. And obviously it's stupid. It makes no sense. Of course they should just do nuclear. But I guess you don't have enough control over the masses if you can't, go to war and shoot and break people's pipelines. And it's insane, obviously. But it's happening. They're really going, well, except the UK. The UK hasn't figured out that this war has to end and we've got all the hydrogen we want. And the UK, of course, is no longer a part of the EU. So they're not even getting briefed. This is Tobias Ellwood. He's what is this guy? He's the head of the British Parliament Defence Committee.
We are now at war in Europe. We need to move to a war footing. We are involved in that. We've mobilized our procurement processes. We're gifting equipment. We need to face Russia directly and rather than leaving Ukraine to do all the work.
Yeah, he wants to send troops to Ukraine to go fight Russia. So they're not read in, clearly. But I think this is all...
Well, he's not for sure.
Well, he's representing the Defense Committee, so the whole Defense Committee is not. This is some kind of big move. Australia's trying to get on it, and this is you want to hear crazy report when it comes to hydrogen? Listen to this.
Australian scientists are spearheading a new way of producing energy. Researchers at Monash University have discovered bacteria found in soil can convert hydrogen in the air into electricity. The enzyme called HU could unlock an unlimited source of energy as Australia looks to be a global hydrogen leader by the end of the decade.
So HU, I don't know what this HU is. The enzyme called HU. HU. Have you ever heard of anything?
I saw this report too. This is bull crap.
What is HU?
I don't know.
Well, it's an enzyme. The enzyme named HU. So
it's obviously Chinese.
Oh, it could be. But they have it in Australia. Anyway. This is
these ideas. There was one. What was the one that came up the other day? It's like some other bacteria or something it could take. Yeah, this is the one that can take current hydrogen in the atmosphere, which is 0.0000 whatever, and turn it into free electricity.
I love that 0 point energy.
Yeah,
finally,
this is perfect, right up your alley.
0 point energy, everybody. We got it. How about this? The whole idea is. I think we discussed it before. The solar panels, the windmills, it's old. We're tired of it. 20 years, it's not working. It's not profitable. Everyone's kind of...
The first time we had this first round about this in the 70s.
Okay. But we're talking today's voters, not the people who are half dead, like you and me.
People that know what
like you
and me.
I
see nothing means.
Wow, man, it wasn't funny the first time. I mean, 3 times, and now you're really overdoing it. And the Germans are gonna get mad because
Germans, they love that guy. Anyway, go on.
They hate.
Anyway,
okay,
hey, go on.
Okay, Kara, thanks. No, you're in a mood today, man. What's wrong?
It's my new amp on my little microphone.
Oh, okay.
It's got me all jacked up.
I can tell.
It creates a different kind of aura in the studio.
Yeah, let's go back to the other one. I liked old John. This is clearly, by the way, Suzanne Santos. Do you remember who she is?
No.
She's an actress, musician. She's the one that went on Rogan like a year ago and was talking about how much she loved our show and how much she loves it when we bicker.
Oh, yes, I remember this actress. Yeah. She went on and on about it.
Yeah, she says hi. She was at the show last night.
Oh, she was there too.
Yeah, she's
like all the celebrities from Austin were
right,
here.
Man. Yeah, she said, tell John I said hi. Big fan.
Well, hi back.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. She's very nice.
She's one of my favorites. She's gorgeous.
And on the way home, Tina and I were listening to her music. It's pretty good. But her album came out during COVID, which kind of sucks, I guess. Anyway, I think that this is just another 10-year gambit. This is the whole idea. We can just keep on fundraising, keep on doing political stuff. They don't actually want anything to work. That would kind of fit the whole narrative.
Well, that actually is the best thesis that I think the show's ever uncovered.
Yeah, it seems that's
all bullcrap. It's just to keep the money, cash flow.
Yeah, cash flow, exactly. Keep soaking the people up, give reasons to print more money everywhere because, we got to do something. And, the only thing that remains open is what do we do with the military-industrial complex if we pull back from the war in Ukraine? And what I'm seeing is, I know you don't really think it's happening, but I just see a pivot to China.
They can pivot to Georgia, according to this morning's news reports.
I saw it. But China is more fun.
Yeah, China's more
fun.
Is everyone who's tried to take on China, as well as anyone who's ever tried to take on Russia, gets destroyed. I don't know if it's really
Well, let's listen to a few reports here. This is NBC.
Let's turn now to those warnings aimed at the White House from top leaders in China, including its president. And they are ratcheting up the tensions between the two nations amid growing concern about China's potential involvement in the war in Ukraine. NBC's Molly Hunter has that story with us. And Molly, these are rare. These are direct messages. How seriously are they being received?
Yeah, Hoda, that's exactly right. These are rare, these are direct, and today, for the second day in a row, we heard very similar comments. So Beijing's new foreign minister doubling down, warning the U.S. and China are hurtling towards what he calls direct confrontation and conflict. Now, fiery comments from Foreign Minister Qin Gang underline the deepening tension between, of course, the two world's biggest economies. This echoed sharp comments from China's leader Xi Jinping yesterday, blaming Washington for these deteriorating relationships. Now, speaking in a legislative session, it was according and reported by China's state TV. She accused Washington of trying to fence China in. Take a look at what exactly he said. He said Western countries led by the United States have implemented all-round containment, encirclement, and suppression of China, which has brought unprecedented severe challenges to our country's development. Now, Hoda, as you mentioned, these are strong, rare words from China's leader. Of course, all of this comes as Beijing strongly denies the U.S. allegation that it is considering giving Moscow lethal aid to use in the war in Ukraine.
So there were a couple.
Wait. Hoda's back?
Yeah. Hoda wasn't sick.
The funny thing, I want to say this. I'm listening to that clip, and the Hoda there.
Yeah.
I thought it was a guy.
At the beginning of the clip?
When I thought Hoda's voice, I thought that was the voice of a male.
Yeah, well, you never know these days. International Women's Day was yesterday. I don't know if you saw our First Lady. I guess you didn't.
No, but I did put that picture of her when she's wearing those army sneakers and that camouflage dress. And remember that? It was in a newsletter.
No, well, she gave out the International Woman of Freedom.
This is great.
To a dude.
Yes, I don't have any clips or anything. That was unbelievable.
I didn't clip it. It was a very short clip, but it was just funny. It's like, okay, International
explain
Women's
what
Day.
it was.
It was International Women's Day, and there's I really thought I had that one. There's Jill Biden handing out awards for being outstanding women. Oh, let me see.
Woman of the Year.
Correct. Well, was it Woman of the Year or was
I think it was Woman of the Year.
International Woman of the Year.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah, and it was a dude from Nigeria.
Dude. Yeah.
And that's fine. Identify however you want. But come on, people. There's real women who do not like this. And you're going to lose those votes. That's
well,
dumb.
If you look at that woman that was standing behind her, in that photo.
Yeah.
What a look.
Yeah. And did they give Rachel Levine a prize? Rachel always needs a prize with stuff like that. Or I don't know. Did you see her anywhere?
She's in one of my clips, but I don't know.
Okay, back to China. Because now it's the same old. And China may even be in on this. I don't know. Maybe they're all in collusion. It's
thinking about this idea, this is just cash flow.
For everybody.
It's quite possible.
For rattle, rinse, and repeat. Get those sabers, rattle them, rinse, and repeat. This is the Deutsche Welle clip, and you'll hear very similar language in the CBS report.
China has announced that it will be boosting its military spending in the coming years to counter what it describes as escalating threats from abroad. The move was announced at the National People's Congress, a rubber stamp parliament, which is currently meeting in Beijing. Officials said the country's military budget would increase by 7.2%. Now, China's current military budget is around $225 billion US. That's only about a quarter of that of the United States. China's military activities are being watched with concern by Taiwan, which earlier warned of the need to be on high alert for China entering areas close to its territory.
So only 7.2%. Got to step it up, boys. We're giving away all our money. We give away almost everything. $900 billion a year. You guys are lame. Now, what was the key phrase there that we heard?
What was it?
Well, first of all, you've got to stop doing that because it's like you're just grabbing the mic every single time. Are you?
I did that time, but I'm not grabbing the mic per se. I don't know why. I can't figure out what the source of this noise is that you're hearing, because it's not the banging.
It's your hand touching the microphone.
I don't touch the microphone. My hand is 3 feet away from the microphone at all times.
Well, then how can I hear this?
I'm wondering myself.
Okay, I'll point it out every single time you do it.
Yes, please.
I'm sure you're touching something. Stop touching.
I'm touching the microphone stand.
Don't touch the stand. It rattles like a mofo. Yes, that. You can't touch it. Can't touch this.
Then what good is this little this isolator?
You know, I wonder that all the time. You don't wear headphones.
I've got an isolator on the mic. Yeah. It shouldn't be affected by anything that's not in direct contact with the mic.
Well, the whole world is hearing it.
Well, I don't know about that. You don't have your ears. Anyway, continue, please.
CBS this morning.
The National People's Congress, the largest rubber stamp parliament in the world.
Did you hear it now? So Deutsche Welle and CBS are using the same term, rubber stamp parliament, the largest rubber stamp parliament in the world.
Oh, and so the EU parliament, which has absolutely zero power whatsoever, is not a rubber stamp parliament?
Well, it's the largest.
Oh, okay, largest.
She's being honest. It's the largest.
The National People's Congress, the largest rubber stamp parliament in the world, has convened in Beijing. This week, almost 3,000 delegates will enshrine in law the wishes of their leader, China's President Xi Jinping. Xi's zero COVID policy with its ruthless quarantines and epic testing did huge economic damage to China.
Ruthless quarantines?
At the Congress, Premier Li...
What? You want to say something?
We had ruthless quarantines.
Australia
just went on differently.
Australia had ruthless quarantines.
Australia and New Zealand worse.
Huge economic damage to China. At the Congress, Premier Li Keqiang made it clear repairing the damage is a top priority. The development target, he said, is growth of around 5%. But it's not clear that growth will translate into good news for American businesses in China.
So there's a chill in the air.
There certainly is a chill in the air.
As U.S.-China relations sour, some American companies fear they're already suffering the fallout. Michael Hart heads the American Chamber of Commerce in Beijing.
Companies feel like they're squeezed out of certain industries. And so there is a question mark that many U.S. companies have about, are we really welcome?
That depends to a large extent on President Xi. He officially begins an unprecedented third term later this week, backed by an inner circle chosen above all for their loyalty. They will support him whether he seeks to escalate confrontation with the U.S. and its allies or dial it back. All eyes will be on the Congress this week for clues as to which way that might go.
Okay, so... we clearly are focusing on China to up our coffers, to get the military focused, and all the. I think this is what the plan loosely is from at least a large portion of the military-industrial complex. Just like we get North Korea shooting off some missiles. Oh, we need to put some more stuff in South Korea, as admitted by my Uncle Don. It's like that's all military-industrial complex build up. So now we have China. We've got to get position stuff in the Philippines. For Taiwan, we've got to position stuff in Japan, just in case. So now we are going to be building that up. And we need a lot more material, a lot more. And it's not NATO, so we can't use your stupid NATO stock. We're going to use other stuff, our new stuff. And so this presents tremendous opportunities. Enter TikTok. TikTok, this started, and I think it still is Silicon Valley's initiative to remove TikTok from the scene because they're eating up right now $6 billion a year of advertising money that is not going to mainly Facebook. Twitter is a whole different deal. No one gives a shit over there, Twitter. But Google even has by the way, Willow got her master's today, cum laude, in psychology, a particular algorithm. And she was the one that had the inside information that internal report that Google is very worried that 1 out of 2 people search for something on TikTok before they search on Google, which is a very big problem.
Well, maybe if Google did a better job.
Oh, well, of course, that's the problem. They cannot compete. And TikTok just nailed it.
They can. They can compete. They just can't gouge as much.
No, TikTok it's crack. They have not had crack in a long time in Silicon Valley. They just can't create it. Everyone's trying to do it, but they can't do it. They can't recreate what TikTok has borne to the world. So this created an enormous opportunity. Let's pay politicians, let's support them for their reelection campaign. Let's lobby them, make sure that they get, TikTok, it's bad. China is stealing our information. Oh, China is manipulating our children, Scott Adams, moron. So now we can do everything kind of all at one time. ABC News.
2 subjects dominated a Senate hearing on the top global threats to America, COVID-19 and TikTok.
To me, it screams out with national security concerns.
Senator Marco Rubio questioned FBI Director Christopher Wray on whether TikTok, which is owned by a Chinese company, could censor videos to shape U.S. public opinion.
Could they use it to control the software on millions of devices given the opportunity to do so?
Control the software!
Yes.
Could they use it to drive narratives, like to divide Americans against each other? Or, for example, let's say China wants to invade Taiwan, to make sure that Americans are seeing videos arguing why Taiwan belongs to China and why the U.S. should not intervene.
Now TikTok is a weapon of military grade war. Because, they could change what we see and then,
You mean, or change the way we want to vote, the way Google did, the way Facebook did?
Yes,
Since we can do it, we figure they must be able to do it too, even though we have no evidence of this.
Oh, I'll give you a good one in a minute.
Oh, by the way, I'm just hearkening back to the, China's trying to censor Google. We can't have anything like that free and open internet. Oh, Saudi Arabia wants to cut off American internet. We have to have a free and open internet, net neutrality.
Oh, just wait for it.
To make sure that Americans are seeing videos arguing why Taiwan belongs to China and why the U.S. should not intervene?
Yes. TikTok's CEO has insisted the company would never provide Americans' data to the Chinese government. But here's what Senator John Thune told ABC's Trevor Ault.
It's all bullshit, John. We know it's bullshit. This is today, this afternoon, the government could say, you know what? We got a problem. We got to remove TikTok from Android and from iOS app stores. But they're not going to do that. Because there's very important reasons.
Have you seen something concrete showing that TikTok has maybe taken Americans' data and given it to China, or is that simply a hypothetical that you were concerned could happen?
No, there's evidence to that effect.
Another hot topic at the hearing, the origins of COVID-19 and the 2 leading theories. Either the virus evolved naturally or it leaked accidentally from a lab in Wuhan, China. Dr. Robert Redfield, the CDC director under President Trump, testified he was excluded from discussions about the origin of the virus by Dr. Anthony Fauci and other scientists because he believed the lab leak theory warranted investigation.
It was told to me that they wanted a single narrative and that I obviously had a different point of view.
Dr. Fauci calling that accusation completely untrue and saying no one excluded anyone.
So here's how this information warfare operation is working against the American people. We start by saying TikTok bad, TikTok bad, TikTok, they're controlling our children. Look, they give good TikTok to children in China, bad TikTok to children in America. By the way, it's people my age who are hooked on TikTok, people with money who actually vote. This is crack for the masses. So we have that aspect. Now, oh my goodness. All of a sudden we have, it came from the lab in Wuhan. Look up in the sky, a balloon, a spy balloon. This is completely shaped to make America hate China with their rubber stamp parliament.
TikTok could be banned from the U.S. under a new bipartisan bill proposed today. The Senate legislation would give the Commerce Secretary new powers to act against tech companies based in 6 foreign nations, including China. President Biden has ordered that TikTok be removed from government devices over concerns that China could be trying to spy on Americans.
So you look at the bill that's being proposed. It is not against TikTok. It is giving the Commerce Secretary, your U.S. government, not a rubber stamp, complete control over what you can do on the internet, what you can launch, if there's any, could be bad, could be data leaking out to some other country. They want to control the internet. They want to control it. And why comes out of this one clip, and this is from the hearing, about TikTok, and they had in this Naxon. He's the NSA director, and they're asking Naxon about what the power of TikTok really is. Listen carefully.
Scrolling on your phone using TikTok could soon be a thing of the past if you live in the US. As on Tuesday, a dozen senators unveiled a new bill, which, if passed, would authorize the Commerce Secretary to ban technology products viewed as threats to national security. While not explicitly aimed at TikTok, it's clear that the Chinese-owned app is a cause for concern.
So TikTok concerns me for a number of different reasons. One is the data that they have. Secondly is the algorithm and the control who has the algorithm. Third is the broad platform. Influence operations, as we talked about previously, it's not only the fact that you can influence something, but you can also, turn off the message as well when you have such a large population of listeners.
Okay. What did he just say?
I don't know what he said, but he said something about turning off the messaging when you have a large number of listeners. What's he talking about?
Well, he's poorly informed because he doesn't give a shit about TikTok. All he cares about is our own propaganda against our own people. What he's saying here is the problem is they have to give us the algo, tell us how it works so that we can, just like we did with Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, so we can propagandize people by making things very popular. And he says the worst thing is just when we've got something going viral, because we have all these thousands of people doing that within the Pentagon and the State Department, Smith-Mundt be damned. Of course, it was overturned. So now we can commit propaganda against our own people. Well, they could just turn it off and stop our propaganda campaign. Listen again.
It's clear that the Chinese-owned app is a cause for concern.
So TikTok concerns me for a number of different reasons. One is the data that they have. Secondly is the algorithm and the control who has the algorithm. Third is the broad platform. Influence operations, as we talked about previously, it's not only the fact that you can influence something, but you can also, turn off the message as well when you have such a large population of listeners.
Influence operations. He's talking about, this is the NSA. He's talking about our influence operations. Now, the fact that he says listeners is because he's already thinking, how do I censor podcasts? That's why he's thinking of that. These guys want total control, which app you can have and how the algo works.
In the US alone, TikTok has been downloaded over 200 million times, with 138 million monthly active users. And last year, the app generated nearly $6 billion in ad revenue in the US. TikTok said last week that a US ban on the app would amount to a ban on the export of American culture and values to the billion people who use their service worldwide. The app has come under increasing fire over fears that user data could end up in the hands of the Chinese government, and has already been banned in India as well as on government devices in the European Union.
So I love that. I love that report. They put it right in there. Yeah, TikTok can turn off our influence operations just when it's all going well. So they have no control.
So they banned it in India?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, remember, China is on Pakistan's side. So, yeah.
Well, technically, so are we.
Well, who the hell knows or what? We're a fair weather friend as far as I'm concerned. We'll screw anybody. And I think the first blow has landed in the U.S.-China war. Mitch McConnell is being treated for a concussion after tripping and falling at a hotel in Washington, D.C. Mr. China.
Yeah, it reminds me. What was the previous Speaker of the Senate, the Democrat who was,
Schumer
from Nevada that was all beaten up one day?
What's his name? Yeah, who got a rubber band in his eye. What was his name?
He was all beaten up. He was beaten to shit, basically, by some gangsters or something. Because he didn't do what he was supposed to do.
Harry Reid, thank you, Charles.
Harry Reid, all beaten up. Then he wouldn't run again. He was out of there.
Yep.
And so Mitch McConnell, who is kind of a scion of the Chinese, because I think he's married to a Chinese woman.
Yes, not just a Chinese woman, one of the richest Chinese families with huge shipping contracts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So somebody worked him over.
You know it, because they're not really saying what happened. They're saying Leader McConnell tripped at a dinner event Wednesday evening and has been admitted to the hospital and being treated for a concussion. So what, did someone trip him up? Yeah, the fall happened at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in D.C., which was formerly the Trump International Hotel, according to a source familiar with the matter. Jeez, you didn't even...
What? You have to have a source familiar with the matter to discuss the name change?
Well, that's CNN for you. Now, he is 81, so a bad fall can suck when you're 81.
Yeah, no, it's something you don't want.
No.
But it is suspicious.
The timing is very...
I mean, even if you have if your feet go out from under you, like if it's slippery, say you slipped and you go out... To get a concussion from that, you'd have to hit your head going down on a table or something.
Exactly, on the corner. But they don't have any report, any real information about that. Now, one more thing. If we just want to really screw everything over and make everything a problem, this report came out yesterday. Let me see, where is this? Here we go. This report I loved. We're going to Australia.
Angus, it was an extraordinary story. Can you, first of all, tell me why did they dope the gold, as it's called?
Yeah, good morning there. Well, look, in 2018, the Perth Mint was under quite a bit of financial pressure, and so they took a decision to dilute or to dope their gold. And that basically means that they added tiny amounts of silver into the mix that makes in their gold bars. And this was it's not illegal, but it's a really high-risk strategy because it leaves them with very little margin for error if something goes wrong. And so fast forward a couple of years, in September 2021, and they got a complaint from their largest customer, the Shanghai Gold Exchange. Now, remember here that the Perth Mint had to do two things. It had to stay above the broader industry standard, but it also had to stay above the slightly stricter standards of the Shanghai Gold Exchange. So in September 2021, it received a complaint from Shanghai that 2 gold bars were not up to standard. Now, that was a very big moment for them. I imagine there was quite a bit of sort of panic at the Perth Mint at that point, and they begun an internal investigation. And what that found was that one of those gold bars came back as a red flag, i.e. it did not meet the standards set by the Shanghai Gold Exchange, which was incidentally the Perth Mint's largest customer by a very long margin. So at that point, they'd begun this internal investigation, but it wasn't just one gold bar that was bad. No. The fact that this assay, as they call it, or test, came back as a red flag meant that the entire gold production over that 3-year period was potentially tainted or substandard. And so as the process went on, they did this internal report, and it came up with this really extraordinary revelation that, having talked to internal staff members, having made some estimates, they made an estimate that up to 100 tons of gold that they had sent to the Shanghai Gold Exchange was potentially below the Shanghai Exchange's standards and may need to be recalled. Now, that is $9 billion or $8.7 billion worth of gold.
They were messing with the gold.
Whose idea was this?
The Perth Mint in Australia. And man, they had the Western Australia Premier trying to explain this. He's sweating bullets over this.
I bet.
Because he knew about it. So they were literally diluting the gold with silver above and beyond. I didn't know that this is already done as some kind of standard, 0.999 or whatever, and the Shanghai Exchange. I mean, when you have that much gold, which of course has been in circulation, amongst countries, I would presume, you can't. Look, we know we can't trust the tungsten from China, so now you can't trust Australia's gold. Can we trust gold at all? I think this is a big deal. I may not be seeing it right, but...
Remember we had this discussion a number of years back when we were talking about the tungsten scandals.
Yes, I have a clip here from... This is 2021.
In jewelry stores on 47th Street and 5th Avenue, the important trust between merchants has been violated. This 10-ounce gold bar costing nearly $18,000 turns out to be a counterfeit, worth just about $3,600.
Yeah, but I don't have any of the clips anymore, but way, way, way long ago, China was doing this. They were mixing in tungsten. They'd put a little bit in, a lot, just have an outer shell, because tungsten, I think, is it exactly the same weight as gold?
It's close that you wouldn't know the difference if you could blend them.
So this, I think, is a real cause for concern between countries, especially China and Australia, or China and the Five Eyes, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's a problem. If you can't trust the gold, what are you going to do? I know. Oh, I know exactly what you do. You need Elon Musk to save you. Elon did another interview. I don't know why people don't understand this. I think we're the only ones talking about the fact that he is not building a social network. He is building a finance app like WeChat, which will come with its own set of financial benefits and constraints, and which probably will include some form of a social credit score. But listen to this and listen for the tell.
So let's close on Twitter before getting to another couple companies I've heard that you run. The vision you're building towards, I think you've called it X, or the Everything app. Yeah. Tell us about it. Beyond just improving the app.
This is just the setup question. Tell us what you really want to do with Twitter, because I've heard about it being X or something like that.
Advertising and what will we be able to do on Twitter in your grandest vision?
Yeah, so X.com is so I think it's possible to create a very powerful finance experience, basically. Like PayPal is kind of like a halfway version of what I think could be done in payments and finance. And so you want to be like, let's say you want to be able to send money easily from one account on X/Twitter to another account effortlessly with one click. You want to be able to, I think, earn interest on the money. You want to be able to have debt, so your interest can go negative. Basically, I think it's possible to become the biggest financial institution in the world. So, just by providing people with convenient payment options, we don't have the time to go into it in detail here, except if we just make the app more and more useful, people will use it more, and it'll be great. So you'll see.
So I have never heard anyone say this. So he specifically said you'll be able to earn interest if you have your money in Twitter, and you can also go into debt with negative interest rate. I've only heard that in the context of a government-controlled bank account, like central bank digital currency. But if going into debt, why does he say, that'll be negative interest rates?
I have no idea.
Something's up with that.
It sounded like a freeform. I should get a copy of that and then edit it so we can hear again Musk trying to speak, which it seems harder and harder for him to do day by day.
Yeah.
To get a simple sentence out is almost impossible.
I know.
Well, if you want to take a breather, I have a nice clip, since you brought up TikTok a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
I have a clip of a woman who is got the multiple personality disorder.
Oh, is she a listener?
No, she's a TikTok woman.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I keep forgetting to do this. Where's the Let me have a I got to set that up now. We need the TikTok jingle.
Talk. TikTok.
Okay.
Now, that short little jingle is better than all of the after show.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't even going to bring this up, but John is really out of sorts today. He feels that the end of show mixers are no good. They suck. It's not anything the way it's supposed to be. It should be songs, parody songs, which are very hard to do, which we got a lot of during the lockdown. But you just hate everything that we have for today. Everything. You hate it all. It's horrible.
There's not one mix in the entire collection.
John at Dvorak.org if you agree with him.
Oh, they will all be saying, yeah, give Adam a bad time. So here's the classic. And she is a member of a DID club, which is some sort of a, you can look it up. It's a multiple personality disorder, so one of the acronyms. But she doesn't have different personalities. She's a shapeshifter by all intents and purposes. Let's listen to her.
Hi, my name is Tempest. I'm a member of a DID system, and several people have asked how to use the neopronouns that I use, so here's a quick guide. So I use they, them pronouns, but primarily I use z, them, zemself. Now this is a little bit different from the other z pronoun, which is z, zerself. So the z that I use is more related to he, him. I'm agender. I don't really have any kind of gender identity, but I have a masculine body in her world, and I'm more masculine leaning in terms of like self-expression, compliments that I like, things like that. And like Cameron and Avery in our system, the not having a gender thing for me specifically is related to the fact that I shapeshifted into a bird. So the other birds also use neopronouns because they don't connect to gender in a human way. Specifically, they don't connect to not having a gender in the same way that a human would connect to not having a gender. So it's not just the fact that we're non-binary, it's the fact that we're not entirely human. So Z, them are gender neutral and singular, and you can use them in a sentence just like you would use he, him, except it's with X's and a Z sound. And that's really it. It doesn't mean anything specific. It's not some complicated usage. It's just an alternative. I do very much prefer Z, them, but they, them is also fine, and I won't be offended if you only use they, them for me. But please do try to use them.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement now. I think TikTok should be banned from the United States. It's just
she shapeshifts into a bird. Yeah, what kind of data is the Chinese getting from these people? How many shapeshifters that shapeshift into a bird do we have on our platform?
It's the influence campaign. We need more bird people, bird ladies.
So she has DID, dissociative identity disorder.
Oh.
Which is what she said, with a little group. She's not by herself. She's with other girls, or whatever they are, birds. They're not people. They're half human. Mental health condition. Someone with DID has multiple distinct personalities.
Wow.
But hers are human and bird. I'd like to see that.
And it's what does DID stand for?
Dissociative identity disorder.
Well, now that you bring that up, I have a disorder I'd like to discuss. PUD.
Yes.
PUD. Pod speeding use disorder.
You're going to stay on this even. I think you've gotten people convinced.
Yep, but there's some important things. Did you know, for instance, as Tanya tells us, that at the state capitol in Denver, proposed bills are read at 1.5 speed before members vote on them. I think that's a problem.
I think so too.
Sarah,
no wonder. That explains a lot.
It does, and this may be happening in other state houses. Sarah says, "I'm so happy you've talked about this. I have a very bad habit of listening to everything sped up. I did notice quite a long time ago when listening to the show while I was cooking supper that I felt extremely anxious and all my movements were very quick and I was becoming very impatient with all of my tasks. I slowed it down to 1.25. That helped a lot, and I'm going to try to bring it down to normal since the evidence has been supporting my thoughts. Garbage Man Mitch. He's also coming back from pod speeding, from his PUD. He said the truck is loud and I wasn't keeping up, so I started listening at 1.3x. I started getting impatient with my family, in particular my young kids who have a hard time expressing themselves and getting to the point. My wife keenly made the same observation. We are saving or creating lives twice a week with this. Do not...
Maybe this accounts for people who listen to the Ben Shapiro show at any speed
being assholes,
having problems.
Yeah, exactly. Or Russell Brand, for that matter. He's also a very...
he talks at 1.5, at least 1.25.
By the way, I did not know this. The British people do not like Russell Brand. They do.
Well, he's found a home.
I mean, there's this article, The New Statesman, their title of their article was, "We have lost Russell Brand. We have lost him." Meaning that he's just become a populist nut job. But one of our producers,
yes,
one of our producers here says, and this is Sarah, and now she's very tuned into the news. She sends me 2 to 4 to 5 emails a week that have just a whole rundown, mainly of UK news. Nobody likes Russell Brand here. And she just I put it in the show notes, goes on and on and on. And this happens sometimes in the UK specifically. You know who else the Brits hate? Phil Collins. Phil Collins cannot buy an appearance anymore in the UK.
Why?
Because of Nannygate. He started an affair with his nanny. And this came out when his house burned down or something, and he and the nanny were running away. I don't remember the exact story, but because of that, they really despise Phil Collins. He's a horrible man. Horrible. They don't even remember why. It was so long ago. Horrible man. Horrible man. Yeah. But that, which brings me to the answer, which we did not understand. The non-responsive. Remember, he was arguing with your buddy there, Heilman. On the Bill Maher show, and he was going to give an example of how MSNBC lies, and he gave the example of the ivermectin, which is more a CNN example, but okay, we'll give it to him. I'm sure they said it. And John Hyland was going, non-responsive.
Yeah.
That is a term only used in court. A courtroom or a deposition where the witness has to answer the lawyer's question. If an answer evades or does not relate to the question, the lawyer can say, objection, non-responsive. So what this was doing is Heilman, who is not a lawyer, as far as I know, was just being a douche. Trying to put him in his place using some highfalutin word or term. Non-responsive. And it just accentuates that you really should not be talking to him anymore. The guy's lost.
Well, on that same show, I pulled a clip that we didn't play that I thought was interesting.
All right.
Which was Mayor Bill Maher talking to Bernie Sanders about the word equity.
Yeah, we didn't. I don't know why. Neither of us. We've both seen it, but neither of us pulled it, which is odd.
I don't know why, but whatever. It's so silly. I played a longer version of it, but the main part of it, which he says, "Do you know what equity means?" And Bernie says, "No."
Right. I got the clip here.
DEI, are we confusing equality of opportunity with trying to guarantee equity in outcomes? Okay, that's interesting because I think this word equity has come into the language in the last few years, and before that we didn't hear it a lot. And I think a lot of people hear equity and they hear equality, that like it's the same word, and it's not the same word in the same concept. So how would you differentiate between equity and equality?
Well, equality, we talk about... I don't know what the answer to that is. Come to think of it, equality is equality of opportunity. All right? We live in a society, we want all people
Right.
To have whatever color your skin is.
Equity, I think, is more guarantee of outcome, is it not?
I think so. I think that's
okay. Fine. So which side do you come down on?
Equality.
Equality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goodbye, Bernie.
So he's never read the memo. He's completely off on his own, this Bernie guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, poor guy. Well, he got railroaded there. And Bill Maher's even trying to be, you tell me he's trying to be gentle with him. Well, I think it means this, Bernie. I think it means more like outcome oriented, doesn't it? Speaking of, I got a very nice email from one of our pilot producers. There's been so much talk about, we've had a lot of close calls, and things are definitely happening in aviation. And he says it is rampant that if you want to be, it doesn't even matter what your qualifications are. If you want to be a pilot in today's world, and it does, and you have to have a minimum of 1,500 hours on jet, although Southwest has reduced that somewhat. If you want to even be considered, you have to be either a member of the Women in Aerospace Club. So there's all these conferences, and the conferences is where the airlines go to hire people. And so, but the conferences are not for straight white guys, who have a lot of hours, might have been in the military. No. There's the Gay Pilots Association, the Women in Aviation, the Black Pilots Association. So you literally have to go to every single one of these, either pretend to be gay, pretend to be black, or pretend to be a woman, which is a real opportunity out there. Otherwise, you just won't get hired. It's horrible.
Well, that's the meritocracy. It's down the tubes.
Yeah, well, this is exactly what you get. Then you get, and you get
crashes.
Yes, subpar. Well, and maybe that's all intentional, because how long have they not wanted to have the next gen system where it's pilotless? We don't need pilots.
That's an interesting thesis.
We don't need pilots. Oh, look, they're crashing. It's gotten so bad. We need
these pilots.
And where do you get that? Where do you get these type of systems from? From the military-industrial complex. It's all for the war machine. Sadly.
I do have a couple of random clips I wouldn't mind playing.
Sure. We got some time. The donation segment's going to be pretty short, actually.
It's about the same as usual. Let's go to, we talked about Ukraine a little while ago. We haven't heard from this woman for a while, Claire Daly. You know her. She's the outspoken Irish woman who goes up in front of the EU Parliament, is taking the place of Nigel Farage and haranguing everybody.
Well, she does it a little better. I like what Claire Daly does. She we're tired of Nigel. I like what Claire's doing.
Well, Nigel's been out of the picture for a while. Yeah. He was at the CPAC thing. He wasn't even good there.
Oh, goodness. Didn't even see a clip of him. That's how bad he was. Okay.
He's All
right.
Here's Claire.
Thank you, President. 1 year on, as the war in Ukraine continues, when voices everywhere should be calling for a ceasefire and peace, this resolution is driving us in the opposite direction, so I proudly voted against it. It peddles the latest lie that this is not now about defending Ukraine, it's about Ukraine must win. What does that even mean? Last April, there was a deal on the table which would have seen Russia withdraw in return for Ukrainian non-NATO membership, but Ukraine's Western friends, killer clown Boris Johnson and NATO rocked into town and told them to keep fighting. The result? 6 cities devastated, 4 provinces illegally annexed, 108 billion euros in aid, which the people of Ukraine are going to have to pay back over decades, global food and energy crisis. Is this winning? Ordinary people don't win in wars. They're cannon fodder in the games of others. And ye can shout glory in here all you like, but there's no glory in the grave, and only graves come out of this folly. It's time for people and the silent majority all over Europe to take to the streets this weekend and demand peace and an end to the war.
Oh, is that this weekend? Is that when the meeting is?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we won't see any of it, but it could happen. Not. I mean, you saw the protests in France regarding the pension age.
Yeah, 2 years, by the way. They've changed it. Well, they're going to jack it up a bit, but not from 62. Right now it's 62, but they want to move to 64. They're not putting up and changing anything.
And in the U.S., they're talking about moving it to 70.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
And no one's doing it. And yawn. What? I don't know.
Whatever. I knew I'd get screwed. That's because my wife is like in this kind of a situation. Well, she latched on early, but it is. The rationale is like, we're going to get screwed. The baby boomers get all the money, instead of doing something about it.
Well, I mean, because I think you can start drawing down on your Social Security at 62, I believe. Although you get significantly smaller amount of money, which is like $1,200 a month. Which
well, it depends on how much how much you varies from person to person and how much they put into the system.
Well, believe me, I'm going to get $0 per month.
Yeah, see, there you go. This is you. This is an example of what we can hear. This instead of rioting in the streets.
Oh no, I didn't pay enough in. I only paid in during the MTV days. I mean, do you automatically pay in when you pay your taxes? Does that all happen automatically?
It depends. Sometimes, yes.
But it's part of FICA, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to presume that
you don't know what you're going to get if you haven't already looked it up. You could be getting $2,000. You don't know.
Well, Tina's going to get $1,200 a month at 62, and she's saying, okay, so what if I wait until 65? How much will the dollar be devalued at that point? Should I start taking stuff earlier and invest it in something? Which I think is probably the way to go.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I have mixed feelings about it. Mimi took out early.
Yeah.
She did a calculation with a bean counter, and it turned out that you could get, unless you live to be 95.
Which I'm planning on, 98, yeah.
You should probably not take it out early then.
Okay. What was the other protest? Oh, yeah, Germany's also protesting. They don't want any more refugees from anywhere. Not from Ukraine, not from anywhere. No, we don't want it. No. Europe is it's a tinderbox. I'm telling you, it's a tinderbox. People are going to start getting really, really angry about things.
So I have another clip that's kind of funny. We haven't heard from this guy for a while, and I think he's in Texas, and I think this was at the Texas Senate. And I don't think this is an old one. It might be, but it just showed up. And but it's the same kind of thing he likes to do. This is Alex Stringer. And Alex Stringer is the guy who likes to go before city councils and bitch and moan about stuff and then slip in a bunch of crazy comments.
Wait. Is that Stringer or Stein? Alex Stringer is a different guy.
I'm pretty sure it's Alex Stringer, this one.
Well, right, but I'm saying Alex, the guy who does all the crazy stuff is Alex Stein 99. And
this is not Alex Stein. This is Alex Stringer.
Alex Stringer is a guy in Austin. He's the guy who ran for mayor, actually voted for him. He's the pedicab guy.
Well, that could be. Maybe he's not the guy who goes from place to place.
No.
But he does pull one here in Austin, wearing a mask so you can't really see who it is. And it went on forever. I only clipped the beginning. I cut it off where I thought it lacked being as funny.
Good afternoon, senators. My name is Alex Stringer. I'm speaking in support of Senate Bill 287 because, listen, we got to protect our safety and we need to protect our kids. And, we got to be honest here, okay? In order to do that, we got to realize that the greatest threat to our safety is our fellow Americans. And this is especially true about these MAGA hat-wearing terrorists who infest our state with their hateful rhetoric, all right? Listen, I'm triple vaccinated and boosted, and I've gotten COVID 4 times, okay? You want to know why? Because these people, they refuse to wear a mask and they refuse to get vaccinated. And you have to understand, these people, they could have killed me, and they wouldn't even care. You want to know why? Because they are murderers and they are terrorists. All right? And then let's talk about my wife. She's immunocompromised with stage 5 testicular cancer. She hasn't left the house in 3 years because of these MAGA QAnons, all right? And these people, they're murderers. They deserve to spend the rest of their lives in prison, and this is how we need to treat these people. And I understand that, I'm really glad that we have good Republicans, like Senator Huffman and Dade Phelan, and you guys fully agree with me on this. Look, I took my 5-year-old son, Carla, to a drag show last weekend in Dallas, and we are regulars at our school's Drag Queen Story Hour. And the drag queens and minor attracted persons performing for our kids, they are amazing people and they are role models. My son, Carl, even started transitioning when Sprinkles, the drag queen, sat on his lap and gave him her thong after the performance, stains and all. And when these Republicans want to take the joy away from my 5-year-old, it's only because they want to exterminate the LGBTQ community because their hearts are filled with hatred.
Yeah, Strenger's a good guy. He's yes, he is the pedicab driver in Austin, and his platform was put a dome over Austin and give the teachers flamethrowers, which I thought was a great platform, and I voted for him. So, while we're on that, then crazy vaccine mandates, boosters, masks. This is just so poetically beautiful. You have been complaining throughout COVID, masks are not a good idea. Why? Because criminals will use them to jack stuff up. Took a while, but you're right. That's now what's happening all throughout New York City. And now we have a reverse mandate. No masks mandated.
And we're not asking the bodega to tell the person when they walk in, hey, sir, you have to take off your mask. There's a sign at the door that the Bodega Association helped us create. Let's be clear on that. The Bodega Association helped us create a sign that says, please, upon entering, remove your mask. And you can put it back on.
You can put it back on.
But think about this for a moment. As I looked at some of the videos, I looked at about 30 videos of people who committed the robberies in Canna smoke shops and in bodegas. In each one of those videos, you saw the person inside walking around with his mask on. And if you did a real analysis of it, you see that, hey, this guy's up to something. So if you're refusing to remove your mask, don't confront the person, but now you're saying, wait a minute, now let me pay attention to this person that is in the store lingering around with the mask. We've gotten so used to the mask that we don't realize there's a large volume of people that are wearing it, not because of COVID, because they're criminals.
No kidding. Oh.
Well, that reminds, there's another thing going around. D.C. had they tried to soften a bunch of rules about.
Yes, I have a clip. I
had 2 clips because I have did you get a clip with the cop?
No. I got, hold on a second, because it's very short. It'll probably set up your clip. Hold on. Yes, here it is. This one.
Ali, let me start with you, because right now I believe Karine Jean-Pierre is really struggling to explain this decision of the president, who is for D.C. statehood, for D.C. home rule, but clearly is nervous about the politics of this crime bill that the D.C. City Council passed over the objections of their own mayor.
Yeah, Chuck, up until this point, the White House had just said that they were not in favor of the House voting to gut this crime bill, but they hadn't really talked about the possibility of President Biden vetoing it. Now he's coming out and sort of explaining why, the reason behind his reasoning. He tweeted just a short time ago, quote, I support D.C. statehood and home rule, but I don't support some of the changes D.C. Council put forward over the mayor's objections, such as lowering penalties for carjackings. If the Senate votes to overturn what D.C. Council did, I will sign it. This is sort of a political test for him. It shows not only, as you mentioned, that he is in favor of keeping that home rule, that unique position by Congress to sort of meddle in the affairs of the D.C. city councils and D.C. voters, but it also shows ahead of 2024 where President Biden could be going with this. You can imagine had he chose to veto this crime bill that's expected to pass in the Senate when it does come up sometime next.
Did she say had he chose? Did she say that? I want to hear that.
Ahead of 2024, where President Biden could be going with this. You can imagine had he chose to veto this crime bill that's expected to pass in the Senate when it does come up sometime next week. You can imagine how much Republicans would have seized on that and used that in 2024 for possible campaign ads.
All right, so there's a lot of things going on with this. One is the D.C. statehood, which we should probably explain. I don't think many people understand it.
Yeah, they keep wanting to turn D.C. into a state so they can get an extra 2 senators.
Yes, Democrats.
That's just to get 2 Democrat senators to pack the Senate and get one. You get one House of Representative.
You get that horrible woman, Norton Holmes. Norton Holmes. Oh, I met her, man. She's a scammer. Ugh. She's like, she was, I had a very bad experience with her a long time ago.
I think her whole political career began with masturbation clubs.
I met her in the context of, I think, Obamacare. And you know, she co-sponsored a movie that I kind of got roped into to go to this premiere. And there's this guy named something Wendell. And it turned out he's just a huge shill for the medical community, and she was all in. But anyway, continue.
Back to the crime bill. Here's the rundown. This is from I believe this is from NTD.
Washington, D.C.'s police chief says to keep homicides down, the district needs to keep bad guys with guns in jail. He spoke alongside Washington's mayor about public safety. Metropolitan Police Chief Robert Conti also said the average homicide suspect has been arrested 11 times prior to them committing a homicide. Conti said if bad guys are in jail, they won't be in Washington communities shooting people. Last month, Democratic Congresswoman Angie Craig decried the district's crime laws after she was assaulted by a homeless man. She said she was his 13th victim and he was committing crime for almost a decade. She said in many cases he received no punishment for his crimes. D.C. City Council was forced to pull a bill that would have made the district even softer on crime.
I do have an issue with this report. Why is it always bad guys? Women don't commit crimes?
Well, this was clipped yesterday on International Women's Day, so they don't do that on International Women's Day.
Got it.
But meanwhile, why even quote the cop? Let's listen to this guy who's the chief of police. And Mimi sent me this, and she says, if this was a white chief, they wouldn't be able to say what he's about to say.
What we got to do, if we really want to see homicides go down, is keep bad guys with guns in jail. Because when they're in jail, they can't be in communities shooting people. So when people talk about what we're going to do different or what we should do different, what we need to do different, that's the thing that we need to do different. We need to keep violent people in jail. Right now, the average homicide suspect has been arrested 11 times prior to them committing a homicide. That is a problem. That is a problem.
Wow, I have a thought on this. So Austin right now is in deep trouble with their police. They were Austin, Texas, big proponents of defund the police. They defunded the police to the tune of $150 million. They did not negotiate in good faith for the new police contract, which means the cadets, there's no cadets, there's no new inflow of cops. Right now they are over 200 police officers short. At the end of this month, the current contract expires. They have not been able to negotiate a new contract with the police. There will be an additional 90 officers who will be retiring. And I don't know if you've seen the videos, Austin, but crime is rampant. They're just taking over intersections right where we used to live to do, burnouts and drag races. It was Suzanne Santos said that her neighbors have been broken into in broad daylight. So this is happening all across America. And I think it's very possible that we're going back. Do we have 2024? Let's go back to 1994, the 1994 crime bill, championed by Senator Joseph Biden. This is when we had the Predators. Remember that? Put it on the cover of Time magazine. The little kid. Oh, we got 9-year-old Predators. I have a feeling that they've created the problem. We've got the reaction, and the solution is now let's lock them all up again.
Yep,
let's
I agree.
Lock them up. Lock them up. Especially the black ones. Lock them up.
Make bigger jails.
Yep. Which, of course, everyone's, invested in. Bill Gates and isn't what's his face there in Omaha? Isn't he invested in the Corrections Corporation of America?
Yeah, I
CCA?
think they changed the name of that company, too.
Well, of course, they got to hide it.
What you do.
I think it's coming. I think we're getting a 2024 crime bill, and everyone's going to be on board with it, and it'll massively refund the police and the jails, and it's going to be a crackdown like you've never seen before. And it's going to
could be.
And it's going to be
This
super
could all
racist.
be avoided by creating shanty towns.
JCD for president, everybody. Great idea. Speaking of law, Ron DeSantis now on my hit list.
This morning, Governor Ron DeSantis is floating a new offer to bring tennis star Novak Djokovic into the country to play in a Florida tournament.
I would run a boat from the Bahamas here for him. I would do that 100%.
100%.
Djokovic never.
You said you would never hear it. There it is. 100%. 100%.
I would do that 100%.
Djokovic never got the COVID vaccine and is therefore barred from entering the U.S. DeSantis wrote to President Biden this week asking for a waiver to allow Djokovic to play at the Miami Open this month, saying the time has come to give up the fiction that the COVID vaccines remain a necessary tool to promote public health. DeSantis, a potential 2024 presidential candidate, acknowledges the boat lift idea may not work.
But I think his people are looking at it, and I'm not sure that's the way they want to come into the country, which I understand. I think it'd be a great moment, but you know.
And the CDC website confirms the vaccine requirement applies to travelers by sea as well as by air.
We expect everyone to abide by our country's rule, whether as a participant or a spectator.
The world's #1 tennis player missed last year's Australian Open due to his vaccination status. He has said he'd rather skip major tournaments than get vaccinated.
Are you prepared to forego the chance to be the greatest player that ever picked up a racket, statistically, because you feel so strongly about this jab?
Yes. And, you know, props to Djokovic. He's principled. It's like, no,
I agree with that.
But Governor DeSantis, piece of crap. I don't want to be like all emotional about it, but I cannot have people come in to visit me here until at least May, when I'm sure they'll extend it again because of this bull crap requirement. And we're I think the last country in the world that has it. And instead of being presidential and DeSantis doing, here's what you could have done. We need to drop this for all people, just like on the southern border. Or maybe you should have said, hey, you know what? Why don't you just go to Mexico and just walk across the border? Because that you can do.
In fact, that would have been making that suggestion instead of, piloting a boat to
from the
Bermuda,
from the Bahamas or whatever,
or wherever.
Yeah.
But just telling him to mock the situation over the southern border. But
no, he didn't.
Yeah, it was poorly done. I agree. I mean, I don't hate his guts because of it, but yeah,
I do. I'm very mad about.
Well, good
this.
for you.
I'm very mad about this. It's insane that is still in place. And there's the only answer we get. Well, it's important to have everyone vaccinated. Oh, really?
If the vaccine worked,
it would do something with it.
The vaccine doesn't work.
There's a new avenue for vaccinating children. There's a new way to do it now. Where's this happening?
The nasal?
Tennessee. No, Tennessee. Now, this is not the COVID vaccination. This is another one of our favorites, HPV.
Ugh.
It's the Republicans in the state house that are passing a lot of this stuff. You know, last year we had a bill in Tennessee by my Republican senator that introduced HPV vaccinations for dentists to give minors without parental consent. I'm thinking, this is Tennessee. Even California doesn't let dentists do that.
Oh, they will. It's a great idea. I'm just going to numb you up here for a second.
Wow.
Yeah, big pharma.
Out of the blue, I'm going to give you a clip of the day for that discovery.
Thank you.
Clip of the day.
That's unbelievable that they would even, and it was Republicans.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just big pharma. Big pharma has us by the balls. You can't fight it. Well, we can, but big pharma is very, very powerful.
Yeah, you can, but it's like, unfortunately, they've taken over the media, so that's problem number one.
Well, let me give you two more
phony ads.
You okay? Wait a minute. I'm going to do this one first because I want to have the kicker be the kicker, obviously. So this is NPR, which you'll hear in a moment. Is very obvious is NPR. And we're very excited about the mRNA vaccines. You know why? It's the platform.
The pandemic helped to speed the development of a new class of vaccines, the mRNA shots against COVID, made by Pfizer and Moderna. Now scientists hope to create mRNA vaccines against other diseases for which traditional vaccines have not worked.
Can you guess which one? Which one is coming? It fits right with your shantytown.
Well, there would be a cold vaccine, I would think.
No, shantytown, man. Think shantytown.
Shantytown. Cholera?
Close. No, that'll be next.
NPR's Nareed Eisenman traveled to the University of Cape Town in South Africa, where they report a breakthrough against tuberculosis.
mRNA vaccines are like a plug-and-play system.
Plug-and-play system?
If you know what proteins on a virus or bacterium a person's immune system can latch onto to kill it, you insert the genetic code for those proteins into the vaccine.
And
yeah, it'd be great if it worked.
Bingo, bada boom, you're done.
But when it comes to the tuberculosis bacteria, TB for short, figuring out what those target proteins should be is tricky.
Yeah, I don't want to play the whole report because it's just boring where they found it all. But I love the plug-and-play platform.
Yeah.
That's
what
perfect.
Malone was discussing in a clip we played some months back.
Yeah.
The CIA, they need these things because of the potential for biological warfare. We got to get a quick turnaround. You need something fast. And this idea, it would be great if it worked.
Yeah. So we've been talking about Ozempic and how that is being prescribed by doctors for people who are overweight, obese, for a fast, rapid, and intense weight loss. Much of the chagrin of people who actually need this for diabetes type 1, I believe. And so,
no, type 2.
Okay, I could be wrong.
No, diabetes type 1, you need insulin.
I'm sorry, you're right, type 2. And so they've now broken it up, and you have the expensive, I forget the name, but some other not snappy sounding name with a jingle. That will be prescribed for the type 2 diabetes. But the Ozempic, now that is, of course, just for weight loss. Hollywood's doing it. You've seen the ad campaign. It is all over the place. Everyone can sing it. And now we have an acquisition.
Weight Watchers is buying the subscription telehealth platform Sequence, making a play in the obesity drug business. The move would give Weight Watchers customers access to doctors who can write prescriptions for medications like Ozempic, the diabetes drug that can act as an appetite suppressant. Weight Watchers executives are touting the medical weight loss approach.
What this collaboration will allow us to do is to have a member enter a pathway and answer questions to assess their appropriateness.
An important point is that these medications are not instead of a diet and physical activity program. They're to help you to comply with a program like that.
Comply.
But we're already seeing a shortage of drugs like Ozempic amid concern about people using it who don't have serious medical conditions.
This is what Big Pharma did during COVID. This is the not discussed trick they pulled, telehealth. So telehealth doctors, all they have to do is have a conversation with you on your app. What's your problem? I can't get it up. Boom, Viagra. What's your problem? I feel depressed. Boom, antidepressant. What's your problem? Look at me, I don't fit on the screen. Boom, Ozempic. Without seeing the person in person, without any real history knowledge, they've become drug dealers. And I can't accuse them because I haven't figured it out yet. But I think what is this? Better Health. There's something that I hear advertised a lot on podcasts. Is if you're depressed, if you want to talk to somebody, I think they may also be prescribing antidepressants, which of course is the real problem we have. It's everyone's on a pill. And now you just get up on the Weight Watchers owned telehealth app Oh man, I love the food. But I have so many cravings. Oh well, we can write you a prescription for Ozempic. It's incredible, and people have no idea that this is being done to them. In fact, we should get in on this action.
I don't know how.
Well, we can create a telehealth. We got doctors.
Hey, how you doing?
we can totally have a telehealth app, and we can prescribe anything we want.
Yeah, no.
It's bad.
I thought you had a kicker clip. Is that it?
No, that's it. I wish I had a kicker. No, I have other clips, but let me see. Did I have a kicker on that?
I have a plane crash clip. That's a good way to lead into the thing.
Okay. Plane crash, always fun.
Or actually, forget it. Here's a good clip. This is the podcast story.
Oh, goodness. Am I going to hate it?
No.
Okay.
It was like a scene out of a thriller movie. A YouTuber just finished recording his podcast, and while he was sitting against the window at a cafe on Saturday, this happened.
Dude, it got so quiet in here. How did I...
Just as he uttered those words, an SUV plowed into the glass behind Nathan Reeves, his friend and a podcast guest. The horrifying moment caught on camera was at the Tout Sweet Cafe in Houston. The cafe was filled with more than a dozen people at that moment. Luckily, no one was injured. Local police said a woman drove her Chevrolet through a red light and struck another car before crashing into the cafe. The video was uploaded to Reeves' YouTube channel, November Romeo, and has amassed tens of thousands of views.
They'll do anything for views on that YouTube, won't they? Anything they can. Do you think this was an accident?
Well, I don't know if anyone wanted to drive a truck through a plate glass window, wasn't it? I don't think the reporting was an accident, but I think that the...
Here's what I'll say. A YouTube video is not a podcast.
I agree.
That's what I'm going to say. And
okay.
With that,
I'm in agreement with you.
With that, I'll like to thank you for your courage. Say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in the killer clown. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to my friend on the other end, Mr. John C. Dvorak.
In the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. In the morning, all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning to the trolls in the troll room. Let me count them right away, trolls. How many do we have? How many do we have checking us out today? Standard fare, 1863. That's about normal, I think. We haven't gone up, haven't gone down. Kind of the same, would you say?
I think that number may be bogus. I think they just produce the same exact number every time. It was almost the same exact number last Thursday.
Let me see if I hit it again. No, I don't know. What did I say? 1863, 1823. The minute I said it, it went down 40. The left. That's what happens. The trolls are leaving. I can't listen to this. Oh, I can't listen. You're missing the best content in the universe. It always happens in the donation segment. And there's always 5% of people who drop off, because I can see this, and come back up.
But why would they drop off in the chat room of all things?
Because they have important things to do, like, listen to Ben Shapiro. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. You can join the troll room very easily, going to trollroom.io, and right there you can log into the chat, listen live to the stream, or get a brand new and modern podcast app at podcastapps.com. You'll be alerted with a ping that says, "Hey, it's time to listen to No Agenda Live." And if you can, then you just tap on it. You get your troll room, you get your live stream, or you just use that app for the podcast when it's been released, because you can import all of your favorite podcasts from your old and legacy podcast app. That's podcastapps.com. Well, of course, you can always follow us at noagendasocial.com. I am Adam at noagendasocial.com. John is John C. Dvorak at noagendasocial.com. We regularly engage in chats there, which you can follow from across the Fediverse, which is the future of social media. And it's a great way to have, even though we don't have algorithms, there's a lot of drama that goes on. Have you noticed the drama sometimes?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Like what?
Oh, people get mad at each other, and he said something anti-trans, and all the trans people left.
In the chat room?
Yeah, no, in No Agenda Social.
Oh.
There's all kinds of
you're right. There's every so often there's a little
drama,
skirmish.
Yeah, skirmish. Yeah, drama. It's just like, really, people, and then they'll start DMing us, which I do not respond to. I do not respond to.
Well,
DMs.
I just don't remember to respond to it. I every once in a while by accident I click on that. On accident, I click on that DM thing, and there's a bunch of messages that have been left there. Oh my God! Because they don't give you it. It's not like Twitter. It says you got a DM here, buddy. Check it out.
It's even worse because you can just be going through your timeline and you may not see the little icon down below, which indicates that it's a private message. And you can just respond to it, and then before you know, and also people tagging us on messages, on threads that are 50 messages long about something that we don't care about, which is
most
a lot.
stuff.
Most stuff, exactly. Follow us there, and of course, there is one conversation which I always enjoy. That's the artists, the No Agenda artists. They always communicate there about what they've been making listening during the live show. This is part of our value for value system, which works incredibly well for us. Anyone can replicate it. We don't take any creepy corporate money, no commercials, no ads. It's all from you, the producers, who send us your time, talent, or treasure, and the talent and also the time is really reflected in what the artists do. And with that, we want to thank the artists who made the artwork for episode 1535. We called that Pod Speeding. Yes, there you go. Roger Roundy with a fabulous piece. We knew it was going to upset people. I had no idea it would upset so many people. But this was
That's what art does.
It does. It evokes an emotion, and that's all you really want. Good, bad, or indifferent.
And this is what I would even consider Roger Roundy art, quote unquote.
Well, it was a good piece. I mean,
no, it was a graphics piece. It was nice. I liked it. Well, we both liked it. We picked it.
Yes, it was. You've got vasectomy face. And we think it was a very accurate representation of vasectomy face.
A bored lesbian, young lesbian.
Let's take a look at the other pieces we looked at. I know there was a close second which you used for the newsletter, and that was that Tonta Neal?
No, Dame
Kennyben, which was the
Pod Speeding Anxiety was the name of it.
Yeah,
I just liked that piece a lot because of the person, that nervous look and the bug eyes and the biting the nails. It was great.
And we would have chosen that had we not chosen Pod Speeding as the title. Which also,
yes, that's exactly correct.
Which also eliminated any other of the pretty good pod speeding images. Now let's see what else we had. We had the Mastermind with the happiness meter. We had Tonta Neal with a no pod speeding. Comic strip blogger even with a 1.5 with a green X through it. Then we had some. What else do we have here? Russell Brand. No, we had Adam Curry as governor of Texas. No, we had what else? Oh, the hydrogen being the champagne of energy. Here's a tip: if you have to understand the art by reading the title of the piece, it's no good. It just will not work for us. Because we can mouse over.
Well, it won't work for the audience because they don't know what the title of the piece is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What else was there? A lot of pointing at Fox News, liar, liar. There was a lot of pod speed. People like the pod speeding stuff. It just, a lot of champagne stuff. So, the vasectomy face was so outrageous. And we just felt it was time. It was time again to bring this up in the conversation. I would have to say it's one of our last times because the hate was pretty severe. A lot of people not digging it. A lot of victims, as we say. Even on the newsletter.
Yeah, Well, we've lost people from our opinions about Ukraine, and then vasectomies is a long thing. So this is a new complaint. And I've got a note the other day, I don't like you guys. You're never going to get my money because of your stance on EVs.
Yeah. I don't think, in fact, you've actually...
So we very rarely talk about EVs.
No, and you've even done reports on different EVs in the past. You would get them from the manufacturer, you'd drive them around, you'd report on them.
Yeah.
And what is our stance on EVs? Besides,
I don't know. It's just that they're a vehicle you can buy.
Yeah.
We don't have any negative stance. I mean,
well, I do. My problem is freedom. You have no freedom. You're tethered.
No, I agree with that. No, well, we do. I think, okay, we have a negative stance. We do.
But
we like the gasoline engine.
But we don't
what?
shit on them. We don't shit on them all the time, which I think was the exact words he used. So. And you know what? This also completely negates the accusation that, they just pander to the people who give them money. Nope. We do not pander to anybody.
No, we don't have to.
No. Why not?
We don't have to because we don't want to. We make it a point.
We do.
It's a sales pitch. One of the reasons that people should be listening to the show is because we don't have somebody telling us what to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't like our attitude about EVs, do what that guy does. You know what? People use anything as an excuse. I've always said this when you're soliciting. People use anything as an excuse not to donate.
That's right.
Oh, Adam likes the color red. You suck. I'm not going to donate because you like the color red. I mean, it's just an excuse not to donate.
No, it goes like this. I was about to donate, but then Adam hated the color red, and I decided no. That's my favorite. I was for weeks I've been thinking time to donate. I was just about to donate, and then you said something that pissed me off, so now I'm not going to donate.
Yeah.
That's all right. That is the true exit strategy. When people stop donating, we exit. So it's up to you. It's not even up to us to find one. It's up to you to not make us go away like your favorite shop on the corner.
Up to them.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, thank you to all the artists. Thank you, of course, to Roger Roundy. Great work. He really did not expect this. In fact, I forget who it was. Someone said that'll hell will freeze over before that is the
that's
art.
what somebody said, or he said. The thing is, Roger Roundy's a fine artist.
He is.
And fine artists usually aren't competitive artists in the graphic visual arts area where you have to, it's different. It's a different business. And so they don't never have the fine sense of somebody. There's a number of people that we have doing art that are just, many amateurs, and they just have a sense of it. But they're not fine artists, who do symbolic art. It's big. He does big pieces.
So there's 200 more trolls who dropped off because they just can't stand.
They're dropping like flies.
They can't stand the donation segment. Oh, and you know what? You're just rude to your fellow producers, and you're missing good content. I'm telling you, it always happens. So with that, we'd like to thank our executive and associate executive producers for episode 1536. And we're going to kick it off with Andy Protzman from Leawood, Kansas, who pops in with a cool $1,000 and says, in the morning, in September 2021, I made a donation that made me eligible for knighthood, but I put my note into PayPal or otherwise messed it up, and you didn't get it. Unfortunately, that does happen. It could have been you. It could have been us. You never really know. Anyway, here's another donation in sincere thanks for the work, thought, and perspective you guys and all the producers put into each show. I'd like to be given the title of Sir Andrew of Mount Oread. Would I be pronouncing that right? Mount Oread? Oread?
I have no idea.
Oread, I'm going to make it Sir Andrew of Mount Oread. I request burnt ends.
Could be Oread.
It could be Oread, too. No, now you really met. I'm going to say Mount Oread. That sounds better. And I request burnt ends and bourbon at the round table. Burnt ends? What is burnt ends?
And you live in Texas?
I really don't know.
Burnt ends are when you do a brisket.
Oh.
Smoke it for 14 or so hours, and the ends of it get kind of crusty and burnt looking, and those are considered delicacies. And you cut them off, and you either give them somebody to order some other brisket, and you give them a little of these. It's a bonus. Burnt ends, they're delicious.
Yeah, no one has ever given me that bonus. Shame on you.
You probably had them, and you don't know it. That's the thing, because you wouldn't think of them anything special if you don't know what you were eating.
And Andy winds up with saying, stay safe, everyone. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Squeak. You can read this one because it's way out of my league spreadsheet.
Scott Moskovitz in Post Falls, Idaho.
You might want to cut it down a little bit. It's a little lengthy.
He comes in with the Striper number 777.77, which he calls the slot machine donation, a row of sevens, which when added to my previous donation of a row of ducks makes me a knight. If you'd be so kind to kick in a penny. Let me see. Where's my penny jar? Oh, there it is. No Agenda brings tremendous value to so many, a respite of clarity in a world overflowing with seemingly demonic forces running gaslighting ops around the clock. Here's a bit of value back at you in the form of treasure. He says, despite having only discovered you in 2020, the show has quickly ascended to the top of my Mount Rushmore of life-changing influences. This is a category so rare as to be neatly non-existent, and your product has reflected this decision in a way that makes it almost otherworldly. Ooh. It's hard to adequately describe, but suffice to say we appreciate the heck out of you. Out of it. The import of your vow of poverty is not lost on the audience. Please dub me Sir Scott the Jew. We know who this is. For the round table, espresso and pipe tobacco, please call out the following people as douchebags. Claude the Gypsy. Douchebag. Jason the weightlifting Pollock. Douchebag. Chris Campbell. Douchebag. And Elliot Fine. Douchebag. And then he has a couple of jingle requests. He says, could you give us some Arnold Schwarzenegger, Screw Your Freedom, Kamala with an insane laugh, and a don't raff. Thank you for your courage, says Scott the Jew.
But I think people should know.
Oh, that's not the right one. Sorry. I hate that when it happens. I should have looked at the time. Screw Your Freedom. Where is it? I thought this was it.
Screw Your Freedom.
Don't laugh. Why are you laughing?
Shut up. There you go, brother. Thank you very much.
Sir David comes in from Grapevine, Texas, which is just up the street from Adam.
Pretty much. Right near Roseanne Barr's house, I hear.
Who's a big fan?
She's a super fan.
$360. No jingles. Best job karma that you can get. It was switcheroo for future Dame Karen, so I had to put a switcheroo on here for
future Dame Karen.
Or just Karen for future Dame Karen. Make it future Dame Karen.
We can say future Dame Karen.
It's a title.
Yeah.
This is my second installment for my wife's damehood. I'm pretty sure my boy child took the jobs karma off my desk, but he put it to good use. He learned yesterday he just got a promotion at work, so I'm putting that in the win column for karma. I just need to refill the pot. If you don't mind, maybe a little goat too to share with the No Agenda Nation in ITM.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
Auntie Morick. Or Auntie Morick, Las Vegas, Nevada, 333.33, one of our favorite executive producer donations. Thanks for the great insight. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
And play the Noodle Boy jingle.
I'm gonna shoot you in the face with my noodle gun, you racist piece of shit. I got my pasta Glock locked and loaded.
That's the one. We don't have a Noodle Boy per se, but the Noodle Gun, that's what you got.
Casey Hamry in Schertz, Texas. Schertz. 333.3. A lot of Texans today.
Yeah.
333.33 from Schertz, Texas. Double up. Give him a double up karma. He's good to go.
You've got
double up.
karma.
Keith Gibson, Holly Springs, North Carolina. 333. Been a while since I sent in a donation supporting the show. Thank you for your courage. NJNK. No jingles, no karma. You got it. Thank you very much.
Danielle Doherty in Sandwich, Illinois, 333. Donations. I like the way Jay's putting switcheroo in bold.
Yes, it's very helpful. Very, very helpful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, very helpful.
Donation switcheroo. Happy birthday to my smoking hot boyfriend, Ryan George, on his show day, March 9th. Please give him a de-douche. Thanks for all you do.
You've been de-douched.
Thanks Thanks for all you do, Daniel Doherty.
There comes QQ from Key West, Florida, 333. He's formerly of Moldova, and he's been keeping us appraised of what's going on there, as, of course, we're being led to believe that the Russians are about to take over Moldova at any moment. And it's really a very pro-EU government.
The Russians have already taken over Moldova.
That's what I thought. But whenever something happens, he'll let us know. And I'll take Donald Eveler, Ashland, Missouri, celebrating my, Donald, 33rd birthday, March 9th, with a donation. Missouri-backed truckload carrier seeking Missouri shipper/receivers. Reach out to Donald at eveler.net, EVELER.net. Again, truckload carrier. No jingles. Everplant Transport LLC gets the credit. Oh, well, okay. Well,
another switcheroo. That's three.
Switcheroo and emboldened. Thank you very much, back office. Nice.
Allison Stang in Champlin, Minnesota. Nuts. 222.22. Quote, out of phase is criminal. That's referring to audio qualities.
I love that. Yes, it is criminal.
Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
There used to be a setting on Audacity called Flanger. It doesn't have it on the new systems, but the Flanger, I think, puts things into a very entertaining out-of-phase quality. The Flanger.
We used to do that, flanging. We call it flanging. You say flanger.
Oh, it's probably flanger.
And the way you do it is you get two reel-to-reel decks with identical recordings, or you could do it with two turntables if you have the same record, and you start them at the same time, and you kind of sync them up. And if they are almost exactly in sync, then you can get that flanging effect, which used to be kind of the only effect we could make back in the day before digital.
Had a reverb box.
We had a reverb, and then you could make the really long reverb. Remember the reverse echo, where you record something with the echo, and then you take the tape off, flip it around, and run it backwards? We used to do that a lot. If that makes sense.
Good times.
Yeah, very good times back in the day. And we used to edit with a razor blade and a wax pencil.
Dame Beth is next on the list. She's in Tucson, Arizona with 222, another row of ducks.
Yes.
Hi, boys.
Hi.
Calling also Arizona's slaves. Join us for the Tucson ladies and gentlemen. Start your livers. Pre-St. Patrick's Day meetup at Canyon's Crown on Thursday, March 16th for food, libations, and conversation. Thank you, livers. Thank you, livers. F their C. There's a lot of code here, Dame.
Yeah.
No jingles, no karma.
All right, you'll get none. Rich Geisler, San Diego, California, $200, no note. And Matthew Cole Periconi from San Antonio, Texas. I recognize the name. He says, $200. Hello, gents. Thank you for the great show. With this associate executive producership, I have attained knighthood. Please knight me, Sir Cole the Unbroken. Email note incoming. I have not seen an email note incoming.
I have the note.
Oh, good. You have it. Okay, good. Does that mean you have jingles?
So I put in 14 points so I could read it.
Yeah.
And it takes up 2.5 pages of typewritten, single-spaced.
Okay, well, that sounds
So I am
groovy.
going to not read the note. I am going to read it, but I'm going to start with the second paragraph.
Okay.
I'm also thankful for my life. And he went on to say he loves the show. Mm-hmm. That's his first paragraph. It's a mile long.
Always a good starter.
Basically says the show's great.
Good starter.
I'm also thankful for my lovely wife, Karina, and my two human resources, Victoria and Bruno. I love you all dearly. Men out there, find a lovely woman and marry her. Relationship karma for all. Can we get some jobs karma for my stepmom who lost her job over some woke BS? Also for my brother who is a gigging musician in Central and Southeast Texas. He was living as a live musician, the live musician life in L.A. until the communists shut down the city. And he lost his livelihood during COVID.
Oh, man.
It is cool that he came back to Texas, but shame that he was what was taken from him. He is building back up. He's available for gigs and can play and sing hundreds of songs. He can also record you and do session work for anyone that needs guitar tracks laid down. Hey, all you Texas bar and restaurant owner, managers, producers out there, hire my brother. I've included one of his tracks. I don't have that. I would like to submit for one submit for one end of the show consideration. You can find him under Stephen Perricone, a.k.a. Drone Gone Rouge. Now, I think he meant Rogue.
Right. Is he on No Agenda Social?
I don't know.
Because that's where you want to post this, man. Post it on noagendasocial.com.
I think it's Drone Gone Rouge, Rogue, but it says Rouge, which is also possible since he came from L.A. It could be Gone Rouge.
Very possible.
On ReverbNation.com. Hit him up in the face bag to book him. Okay. He needs some Pokemon cards and testosterone boosters at the round table.
Oh, hold on a
second. And a jingle request.
Hold on a second. Pokemon cards and a what booster?
Testosterone booster. Everyone needs one of those.
Yeah, why not? You gotta get it. Gotta get it good. Mm-hmm. And jingles, of course.
Yeah,
jingles,
of course. I don't like putting chemicals in the water that turns the freaking frogs gay.
Okay.
I think you can find that.
Yeah, we got that
and
one.
And he says, kind regards, soon to be Sir Cole the Unbroken. Okay.
All right, and a Jobs Karma. I got it here.
Jobs Karma.
Okay, hold on a second. Frogs gay.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got
karma.
And then our final associate executive producer is Brandon Kiefer from Girard, Illinois, $200, and no notice associated with that. We thank you very much. And thanks to all of these.
He gets to double up karma, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. Yeah, we should have done that for...
You've got
Rich.
Yeah, we should probably do that for Rich, too.
Rich Geisler.
Yeah, Rich Geisler. I'm sorry, Rich, I missed that one. Here you go. Double up karma for you.
You've got karma.
You're probably giving one to QQ while you were at it.
Yeah, and Q. Well, Q. Okay, QQ, QQ, pew, pew.
You've got karma.
There we go. These are, of course, associated with credits that are totally legit and real. 100%, 5 by 5 in totality. You can put these credits anywhere credits are recognized or not. Doesn't really matter, but it is kind of cool to put them on IMDb because people go, whoa, you're on IMDb. Yes, I am. Well, what is that outfit, the No Agenda Show? I don't know. You ever hear of Dana Brunetti, who produced 50 Shades of Grey and House of Cards? Well, he unfortunately, he's only an associate executive producer. But
he's also an executive.
But the executive producer, it's all in there. Or you can put it on your resume, on your LinkedIn. It will impress anyone of the opposite sex or the same sex, if that's what you're into. It always works. Just say, oh, if only I could find an unknown for my next production. We have a couple of meetup reports and some nightings and birthdays coming up as John reads the rest of the donations through to $50.
Yeah, let's do that with Bruce Schwalm at the top in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, $133.88. Mike Straub and Glen Burnie, Maryland, $133.33, needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Tharn Vance in Tahuya, Washington. I usually pronounce, I know how to pronounce all those names up there, but this one I don't know. $133.33 also needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Good old Viscount Hugger of Kittens in Zaandam, Holland, 12345, along with Sir Pete in Amsterdam.
Back to back.
12345.
Nice.
Now there's your random number.
Right.
Nathan Park in Bothell, Washington, 111.11, and Brendan Jansen needs to be called out as a douchebag. Timothy Wilkinson, 111.11. In Mount Laurel, New Jersey.
That's a Satchel of Richards is what we call that.
Yeah, Satchel of Richards. Jason Ron, somebody sent a note in saying, oh, you guys, it's funny because I get a lot of this stuff you guys don't get. He says, I knew what Satchel of Richards meant.
Oh, thanks. Have you donated one?
Jason Ron in Ship Bottom, New Jersey. Wow, Ship Bottom, New Jersey, $100.
I lived in New Jersey. I don't know where Ship Bottom is. I've never heard of Ship Bottom.
It's down at the bottom.
Okay.
Joe Salino in East Syracuse, New York, 100. John Takana in Chicago, Illinois, $100. This puts this towards JC's new rubbers. Huh. Karma Ovandipur in Allen, Texas, De-douching. 300.
You've been de-douched.
Jan Oziphius in Oostvoorne.
Oostvoorne. Close.
Oostvoorne in Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
Emily Doering in Nyborg. And, he has $100 for John. Emily Doering in Nyborg, Denmark. 100. I don't know if he's got a call out for somebody there. Nope. Matt Stevens in Waycross, Georgia, 100.
Jeroen Broers.
Jeroen Broers. Broers in Amersfoort.
Close enough.
Youpie, 100. It feels great to be an ex-douche. You two are awesome, he writes.
Youpie. You nailed it. No, you nailed it. That's a very Dutch thing. Like when instead of saying yay, they say youpie.
Youpie. Richard Lindquist in Squim, Washington, 100. Now there's no name here. It's just an empty box.
Oh, wait. Where do you have that?
This is line 32.
Sir Kevin McLaughlin.
Oh, well, blanked out on mine. I think I hit a button or something. Locust, North Carolina. Of course, it's Sir Kevin, 8008.
Hello.
Boob donation, duh. Richard Marcello in Lititz. Or Lititz. Lititz. Which you see at a stripper club. You see lit tits.
Yeah.
Please add me to the birthday list. 8008. Yeah, they were bitching about a pronunciation of Lititz or whatever we were saying.
Yeah.
Sirloin in Ramsdonksveer.
Very good. Nailed it.
8008. Steadfast Steel in, I want to pronounce it in Dutch style, Brentwood, California. 7777, de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Sir Dan in Alpharetta, Georgia, 7373.
Thank you.
John F. in Lakewood, California, 6969. Brian Genek in Union Grove, Wisconsin, 6954. He's got a birthday. Kathy Tomich in Bailey, Colorado has a birthday, 6666. David Spring in Anna, Texas, 6008. Lopsided boobs, one small. Tom Dari in DeForest, Sir Tom in Wisconsin, 5510. Sir Luke, London, UK, 55. Ian Kozak in Williamsburg, Pennsylvania, 5233. And we're getting to the 50s. Bad Idea Supply. Bad Idea Supply.
Yeah, very 50, bad idea.
50. Sir Prophecy. Sir Prophecy, huh? In Greenfield Park, New York, has a birthday, 5033, and the following people are finally $50 donors, name and location if I have it, which starts off with Jonathan Ferris in Liberal, Kansas, Matthew Smith in Colchester, UK, Philip Kuzmanovsky in Austin, Ryan Tiernan in North Providence, Rhode Island, Jason Klaus in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Katharina von Esch in Hilversum. We have a lot of Dutch today.
Well, there was a big meetup and we have a report, so that's what happened.
Oh, okay.
There. Usually happens. Yeah, it's great. I love that.
Belinda in Rotterdam, Holland, and needs a de-douching. Belinda does.
You've been de-douched.
Anna Moore in Gibsonville, North Carolina. Charlotte Pot, no city. I'm sorry. Anna Moore says it's actually Travis Moore from Sedalia needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Charlotte Pot. Jonathan Meyer in Xenia, Ohio. Justin Cruz in Tehachapi. Edward Mazurek in Memphis. Sean DeSantis in Fort Pierce, Florida. Capic Chiropractic in Michigan, in Capic, Michigan. Capic Chiropractic. My neck needs adjustment. Sir George Woushett in Lavernia, Texas. Greg Firak in Chicago, Illinois. Nadia Borg in San Marcos, California. Christopher Riviera ZXC in Nederland, Colorado. Trent Larrabee in Manchester, New Hampshire. For the record, I love the newsletter. Donnie Reed, Inver Grove Heights, Minnesotans. And last but not least, Sir Jason DeLuzio in Miami Beach, Florida. I want to thank all these people for making this show 1536 a reality and a happy one.
And thank you to everyone who came in under $50 for reasons of anonymity, or you might be on one of those sustaining donation programs, which are incredibly important when things are slow and low. They really do keep a standard base for us of some level, which we appreciate. And of course, we just want to thank those people very much. Thanks again to our executive and associate executive producers for episode 1536. And we lost about 350 trolls. And it's like when you go to the movie theaters, the people who get up right away when the credits start rolling, you know what they miss? They miss the bloopers, they miss the they miss the epilogue, all of these things that happen during and after the credits. It's well known. You should always wait during the credits on any motion picture. And this podcast, to support us, go here. Dvorak.org/NA. Thank you, execs and associate executive producers, for helping us with episode 1536.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth. Order.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave. It's your birthday.
And special birthday shout-outs for Brian Bing Rodiger, who wishes his mom, April Lasik, a happy birthday. She turned 82 yesterday, and she still reads all newspapers without her glasses. Danielle Doherty wishes her smoking hot boyfriend, Ryan George, a happy birthday. He celebrates today. Donald Eveler turns 33 today. Brian Jenak turns 54 today. Brian Sir Braffasy celebrates tomorrow on the 10th. Richard Marcello will be celebrating on the 12th. And Kathy Thomas wishes her two human twin human resource, Gary and Katrina Evans, a happy birthday. They turned 33 years old. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. No title changes, but we do have a couple of knights lined up here. We got 3 of them, in fact, so we'll take your trident.
Oh, here you go.
Nice. Andy Protzman, Scott Moskovitz, and Matthew Cole Pericone. All of you, join us here on the podium. You have supported the No Agenda show, in some cases well in excess of $1,000. It can take as long as you want to do that. It can take 10 years. We're happy to have you here, and I'm very proud to pronounce the KB with the following knight titles: Sir Andrew of the Mount Oread, Sir Scott the Jew, and Sir Cole the Unbroken. Gentlemen, for you, we've got Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Burnt Ends and Bourbon, Round Table, espresso and pipe tobacco, Pokemon cards and testosterone booster, and Ruben S. Ruben and Rosé, Bong Hits and Bourbon, Sparkling Cider and Escorts, Ginger Ale and Gerbils, Breast Milk and Pablum. Of course, we've got the mutton and the mead. Head over to noagendanation.com/rings if you want to see how handsome these rings are for men and for women, but only for knights and dames. And the 3 gentlemen in question can, of course, fill out your ring size. Tell us where to send it. You'll see it's an order form, which is kind of cool because that's $0, because you can't buy them. You have to earn them by becoming a knight or a dame of the No Agenda Roundtable. Thank you all for supporting us.
No Agenda meetups.
We've got Portland's second Saturday Slave Soiree kicking off at 5 o'clock at Dick's Primal Burgers in Portland, Oregon. And we have a couple of meetup reports, 2, in fact, a couple. Let's see. This is from the Idaho Sanity Brigade meetup. Oops, sorry. Here
it's
it is.
The North Idaho Sanity Brigade at the Flat Stick Pub in downtown Spokane, and we're getting ready to go see Dr. Jordan Peterson with a belly full of pizza.
And beer.
Kenny from Pullman, first meetup, definitely worth the drive.
He didn't want to say his name, he's the spook.
Chris from North Idaho, big fan of the show, having a good time.
Our Smoking Hot wives were at this meetup as well, Danica and Jess, but they didn't want to say anything, which I think makes them spooks as well. Come join the North Idaho Sanity Brigade as we return to our regularly scheduled programming. The third Thursday meetup, March 16th, is the next one at Selkirk Abbey in Post Falls, Idaho. Hope to see you there, unless you're a spook. And until then,
stay woke!
I have to say that is, to me, almost the ideal meetup report. I like the length. I like the speed. I like it not being everyone, because, when you get everyone talking, everyone has to make a joke and be funny. It gets a little tedious. Dutch contingent of No Agenda, this is too long. You have to shorten it up. I know there's a lot of people that show up for these meetups, and I love you dearly. Een beetje korter in vervolg, okay?
Welcome to the Sustainable Development High Ground, the Wageningen Economic Food Hub Festival.
What?
The Wageningen Economic Food Hub Festival.
In the morning, Martin here. It's nice meetup, and we just embrace our Dutch accent.
In the morning, Frank, a.k.a. Mike.
Sir Andre, we're in a beer brewery, and I don't drink.
In the morning, John and Adam, here in it's very nice at the BEF meetup in Wageningen. Hui, hui.
In the morning, here's Natalia, formerly known as the Lady of the Lithuanian butt plug.
Hey, in the morning. Hey, Adam. Love you, no homo. Bye-bye.
In the morning, Sir Justabus, we're having beer and chips. Sir Gust, you're amazing.
Sir Herco enjoying himself in the WEF Food Hub.
Stay free, Sir Doris of the Wild Boar Mountains.
In the morning, Sander Whisper. I've got hairy legs and my hot-built girlfriend likes it.
Willen we bier of wijn?
Connection is protection.
In German.
In the morning, some foots were washed ashore.
Hey, this is Sir Hendrik, the Knight of the Blank Saber. The night for all the ladies. Yeah.
My beer fell down, beer barrack.
In the morning, just having some nice meat.
This is Bean. Boost yourself to the new world again and again and again. This is Ingrid. Fries for life.
Dame Pam Stam. Proost.
This is Sir Guus Kadaver.
Sir Doris.
And soon to be Sir Jaap.
And having a very good time with everybody with Dames, Nines and douchebags.
Wat een kutavond.
The Dutch. Love you dearly. A little shorter, please. If you go to noagendameetups.com, you will see that March and April are already booked up. Doesn't mean that you can't double book, because you can have a meetup on the same day anywhere else in the world, even in the same state. Sometimes that happens. Indiana seems to do that. I think we're even going to see a mega meetup soon with Indiana, multiple Indianas and Chicago. But this is the place you go to. It's completely producer organized. We have nothing to do with it. All we do is post your meetups, and we read off the reports and let everyone know what's going on, but it's all about you. And as you heard in that report, connection is protection. You want a community. This is the one. No Agenda meetups are where you will find your family, your people. And as always, it's always a party at noagendameetups.com.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
And I think you're going to win it by default today because...
Well, I haven't got good ones, but I will. I want to make a weather report before we get into the clips.
Oh, okay.
At 11 o'clock this morning, the atmospheric river is supposed to hit. It's already almost 2 o'clock.
And?
Nothing.
Love it. Here's my one ISO.
I've got to do what they tell me. Which is it?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Boy, that was bad.
Yeah, I told you it was bad.
Okay, well, I've got a bunch of different ones. Let's try stand.
Stand with us.
I hate Joe Biden as ISOs. I'm just saying. If it's only Biden, we'll have to live with it, but I despise it.
I got bitter.
There will continue to be hard and very bitter days.
No, I'd rather have stand with us in that case.
Okay, then the last one, which is from the podcast report, the crash.
Wow, you're right. They're all bad.
Stand with us.
We'll take that one. Stand with us. Because it's you can hear it. And by the way, people who left, they won't hear our January 6th clips, which I think is what we're going to do now. I think we have
sounds like what we're going to do.
I have some good ones. And do you have some? You want to kick it off?
I have overview clips. I have they're from NTD. I do have the Ken Burns clip from CNN, but it's minor.
Yeah.
But let's listen to the overview clip. This is J6 and Videos and Justice.
Okay.
House Republicans recently released some 41,000 hours of security footage from the January 6 Capitol breach to Fox News. The GOP says they were granting access to any defendants who want to view the video. The defendants say they need the trials delayed in order to review the footage. Federal judges haven't ruled on whether to delay the trials. Government prosecutors oppose the requests.
Yeah, well, I think what was nice about the January 6 happenings this past week in the United States is Tucker Carlson, who started airing his version of edited videos, of course, completely deceptively edited, unlike the January 6 Commission, who literally sweetened audio and put violent crowd noises under video footage of inside the Capitol.
The violent crowd noises was very annoying.
I mean, they hired an ABC producer to do that. So for Tucker Carlson now to edit his own version, having access to 41,000 hours of video. Oh, this, of course, had to be disputed. It was disputed by all Democrats and even some leading Republicans. Because
a lot of leading Republicans, including, besides Mitt Romney and the usual suspects, but it also included John Kennedy.
Yes.
I was very disappointed by that.
Well, you just pay attention to who is rocking against it, and they're the ones that are deathly afraid of Trump gaining ground again, because that's what this is all about. Trump has to go to jail, and has to go to jail before the 2024 election. So all the networks were out in force to excoriate Tucker Carlson, Fox News, and anybody who even comes close to watching it.
New backlash this morning after Fox News showed new video of the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Many Republicans are now slamming the report, accusing host Tucker Carlson of deceiving his audience.
What is slamming the report? Slamming the report.
It comes amid new evidence in $1 billion lawsuit against Fox. ABC's Lindsay Watts is here with the latest. Lindsay, good morning.
Good morning.
Liz, good morning to you. Both Republicans and Democrats are slamming Fox's Tucker Carlson.
What is the slamming? Slamming. I'm telling you, you're not just slamming it. You're slamming it. You're slamming it. You're butt slamming it. Butt slam!
For his portrayal of this new video from the January 6th attack.
I think it's bull.
This morning, bipartisan outrage at Fox News host Tucker Carlson after he claimed surveillance video from the January 6th riot proves the attack was mostly peaceful chaos.
These were not insurrection.
I like this because when it was a mostly peaceful protest, it was all believable except for the Republicans. And now no one believes it.
Chaos.
These were not insurrectionists. They were sightseers.
Lawmakers accuse Carlson of downplaying the attack, including Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, who held up a letter from the Capitol Police yesterday, criticizing Carlson for cherry-picking calmer moments from the riot.
It was a mistake, in my view, for Fox News to depict this in a way that's completely at variance with what our chief law enforcement official here at the Capitol thinks.
Carlson responded on his show last night.
Here you have people with shared interests. The open borders people. The people like Mitch McConnell, who are living in splendor on Chinese money.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who gave Carlson exclusive access to the surveillance video, says he did it for transparency and has no regrets.
Each person come up with their own conclusion.
But as Republicans and Democrats blast McCarthy, a new court filing shows attorneys for those arrested in the attack have had access to the trove of videos all along.
No.
That's interesting.
That's a lie.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because they had the attorney on Tucker's show, the shaman guy.
Yeah.
His attorney, and he said they had no idea that these videos were out there, and they never had access. He says it's bull crap.
Carlson also aired new video of Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who died from a series of strokes after being assaulted. According to Carlson, the video shows Sicknick walking in the Capitol after he...
Wait. Wasn't he originally the guy who died because he was bludgeoned to death with a fire extinguisher?
Yeah, and there's plenty of clips that back that assertion up. Every network was saying he's bludgeoned to death with his fire extinguisher.
But now he died after...
According to Carlson, the video shows Sicknick walking in the Capitol after he was attacked.
Apparently in good health after he was supposedly killed. We showed you that video. You can make of it what you will.
The Sicknick family blasted Fox.
Blasted!
Every time the pain of that day seems to have ebbed a bit, organizations like Fox rip our wounds wide open again, and we are frankly sick of it.
And that I can understand, and I think is true, but they did not refute what he said, which is always interesting. And then the final one from ABC.
And back to the January 6th videos, Carlson pointed out that Capitol Police walked some protesters into the building during the riot. But security experts say that may have been a strategy by police to calm the crowd.
Oh, it was a strategy. The bottom line, well, let me just say one thing, and I have one clip we need to play, but the bottom line is all video can be edited to make any story you want. Any story at all. And it's now just down to, how powerful the original messaging was. I would say pretty powerful. It'll be hard for most people to disagree with that looked like a violent attack. I personally think that I err more on the side of Carlson's view of what happened. Certainly, when it comes to the lead figure, the guy with the horn hat, the shaman. I mean, it's obvious that he never committed any violence whatsoever, and he seems to have indeed been given a tour of the Capitol building. But this is just he said, she said, and the sad thing is it's news organizations fighting amongst each other because they really just want Fox News taken off the air because Fox News has the ratings they all desire.
Well, a couple of things I noticed. One, the Monday report, which showed the shaman and all the rest of it, it was pretty, the kind of stuff I had expected. We've seen a lot of these videos before. It's nothing new to our audience. And then they made a big fuss about it as though there was, it was anything more than it was, which was boring, to be honest about it. The Tucker stuff was just, okay, here's what happened. It wasn't a big deal. And here's this guy, he's not dead and all the rest of it. And so then everybody goes ballistic for reasons unknown to me. I'm totally convinced. And then they said, they've got to stop this. And Tucker showed no new footage on Tuesday. He showed no new footage on Wednesday. They had 41,000 hours. They could have shown more. I think he got quashed. I think that there was something in those videos, some person, someone who shouldn't have been there, some specific person they didn't want anyone to see, find out, know they were there. They're trying to cover something up, and they put the kibosh on it. And after the Monday report, there hasn't been shit.
Oh, so you think that they have something on Tucker to make him not put that into the report?
No, I think he was told not to do it by Murdoch. They kept calling Murdoch out,
and then they pushed Mitch McConnell down.
And then Tucker being a good company man, like you pointed out before, covered his ass, looked really good, kind of showed the same clips again.
Ooh,
he didn't do anything, to make a fuss.
Wait. It's a limited hangout.
and it was like, it's as if, okay, I won't show anymore. And, somebody said, there's something, there's a thing that happened. There's lots of these things happen in the media where there's something somehow that journalists accidentally do stuff. And the next thing you know, it unveils something that people don't want known. I think there's a cover up here.
And you know what? If there was a cover-up, it might have had something to do with Ashley Babbitt. I'm thinking there's something, because he just passed that right by, didn't even show the original video of her getting shot in the neck.
Worse than that, he made the comment that there was no such video.
Yeah, I'm not buying that at all. There had to be a reverse
not. We
angle.
saw the video of her getting shot. It was just like a gun sticking out, and boom, she got shot. There wasn't... There's something,
but that wasn't video. That was from people who were there, who were just filming on scene. There's no video from that hallway or anything else.
Somebody filming on scene, right?
And I know that they had a lot of just empty footage of just stuff where just security cameras. That's an interesting assertion. I like that because I agree. It was like, okay, so no one's going to believe that, and what's the big deal? Okay.
You see that first day. It was I thought it was boring. Okay, you got these videos, and I think you're right. I feel the same way. I think Tucker's right about it. It was not I think he had the right idea. But then they put the kibosh on it. No more. What happened? What about tonight? Is there going to be anything? There wasn't anything on Tuesday. There wasn't anything on Wednesday.
Very interesting assertion. I'm kind of liking it. Do you want to listen to The View going nuts?
Oh, The View.
I mean, listen, I don't know what he's playing at, but people saw what they saw. They saw what they saw.
They saw what they were told to see and believe. They saw what they saw because it's mind control.
And they've seen what's gone down with it. And no matter what, you can't put this monkey back in the cage. You can't. This was insurrection. It just was what it was. So,
no, you can call it a riot, but insurrection? No.
People are very upset. His viewers, maybe they're going to buy it. I don't know. What do you think? Are they going to buy it?
A note to his editor. That was a bad.
That's interesting. Where she's concerned if his viewers are going to buy it. They're also concerned with ratings. That's all they're really concerned. They don't care about America.
It was. So people are very upset. His viewers, maybe they're going to buy it. I don't know. What do you think? Are they going to buy it?
A note to his editor. That was a bad shot. The B-roll of there were thousands here. A small percentage.
I like a note to his editor.
It's like clawing down the building. That was a mistake on the editor's point. But I literally sit there and think, don't treat me like I'm stupid. As you're watching the video, and we saw it live, but even the clips they show.
I love the View saying, don't show me, they think I'm stupid. Okay, View.
Using words like meek, sightseer, they obviously revere it.
How about insurrectionists, violence, gangs?
Is literally a building with rules, and you've got people breaking windows. At worst, you've got injuries and a death. But
4 people died that day.
4 people.
4 people died! All of heart attacks, and none of them cops at the time.
Okay, but
no, they were mostly suicides, and it was much later.
And there were 2 more suicides just this week, I think, of Capitol Police. Hold on a second.
But they're still promoting the idea that 5 cops were killed at the event, and that's not true.
No, it's not.
Breaking windows. At worst, you've got injuries.
So they're perpetuating a lie, these women.
Lies!
Lies!
Lying women! Lying!
And a death.
But 4 people died that day.
4 people. Okay, but the point here is take away that even. They were destroying the building. You're watching glass. You're watching a stampede. You're watching their outfits.
You're watching their outfits because they got MAGA hats on.
They're telling you what you're going to do. Steve Bannon says, remember on that podcast, he said, all I can say is strap in. All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. That's not a call for tourists. That is not something.
When I go to Paris, I want to climb the Eiffel Tower.
You can't.
On the outside, because that's what tourists
do. If you revere it, you can climb it.
He's basically saying, I don't believe what I say. He's basically saying, I don't believe what I say. My boss, Rupert Murdoch, he doesn't believe what I say, but I want you to believe what I say. That's what he's saying to his audience.
Yeah. Is that what he's saying to his audience? I don't think that's what he's saying to his audience.
Contempt for them, I think. It's like you say, what am I, stupid? I think he thinks that his audience...
But all they can talk is about contempt for the audience, not the American people, not the truth, not justice. It's just his viewers. Hello, viewers, come watch us. He's lying to you.
He does think that, and it's entertainment. A federal judge already found by law.
Oh, this is Sunny Hostin. This is great. Now, you got to love her.
That he is not a journalist, that he is an entertainer.
Oh, he's not a journalist. Well, then why do you care?
And that anyone that's watching should know that this is just pure conjecture and entertainment.
Unlike The View, which is a pure news program.
I actually don't think that they believe that it's not true. I think that they believe what he says. I think they treat him as somewhat of a messiah. But what hurts me to my core is that
he's a messiah. It's all about viewership. They don't care about the truth of what happened. They care about making Fox News go away or stop watching. Your Messiah is a false idol.
Of a Messiah. But what hurts me to my core is that I was always friends with a lot of Capitol Police officers, as I'm sure you have been as well. And they are the best of the best.
What?
And I've become friends with...
I've always been friends with the Capitol Police, as I'm sure you have as well. They're the best of the best. They're the best of the best.
With Officer Harry Dunn. Remember the tall man? He is still hurt to this day over what happened. His PTSD. Those officers are suffering terribly. 4 people died. How dare
again, the 4 people died.
How dare you, Tucker Carlson?
How very dare you?
It is beneath.
Why do they? This lie is unbelievable.
Oh, but they believe it themselves, John.
No, unfortunately I believe the sincerity factor, which I've said before on this show, is high, and it's like kind of disturbing.
They're going to end it up with a very interesting assertion / accusation.
Probably 4 people died. How dare you? How dare you, Tucker Carlson? It is beneath the dignity of any American to dismiss their experience.
Sonny, let's not let McCarthy.
That's the...
Well,
okay, I'll let you take that one over.
But what you're really looking at, collusion between an entertainment show and the government of the United States.
And that was entertaining.
So,
it was a rewrite.
Indirectly, McCarthy is also...
McCarthy admitted that he had to give him the tape as part of it.
44,000 hours of security footage. So this is the most predictable outcome, that Tucker would then cherry pick the parts that look peaceful and that look calm.
But why did he
didn't even do that. Well, I think he must have committed to it to get votes for the speakership.
He said he had to give it to Tucker Carlson to become the Speaker of the House.
Because he made a deal.
They made a deal. He had to give it to Tucker Carlson, otherwise he wouldn't become Speaker of the House.
Yeah, they've been promoting this concept on that show for a while. There's no evidence of this.
No, that's interesting. It did take him a long time to get the votes. I'll give him that. I will give them that.
Well, he definitely did some deals with the most conservative people to get the votes that he wanted.
Yeah.
But it maybe, I mean, I don't think Tucker was ever in the negotiations. You got to do this and you got to give it to Tucker now.
No, I don't think so.
That's just not the way it works. But if you want to get the most attention and you want to get the highest, the audience, the biggest audience, and you're going to give it to Fox, you give it to Tucker. That's just simple. It's just logical.
Well, I think it's a big dud, which a lot of Tucker stuff is. A lot of it's a big dud.
Well, I thought it was a dud too, but the fact that he didn't follow up with a second and third round of videos is telling to me that something's up.
He did
a great job of covering for it, though. You wouldn't, if it was an honest thing, because Tucker's always made the comment that, nobody tells me what to do.
Right. One last honesty clip that I want to play, short. I thought this was dynamite. This is, in some ways, the guy is trying to save his hide, but he came out much earlier, and it's just, I can't believe that people aren't going insane playing this clip over and over and over again. Former CDC Director Redfield, who was testifying exactly the truth, at least what we've asserted to be the truth, about gain of function, China, COVID, Fauci.
Dr. Fauci was affirmatively told in an email that NIAID had a monetary relationship with the Wuhan Institute through EcoHealth Alliance. He was told this in January 27th of 2020. Do you think that Dr. Fauci intentionally lied under oath to Senator Paul when he vehemently denied NIH's funding of gain of function research?
I think there's no doubt that NIH was funding gain of function research.
Is it likely that American tax dollars funded the gain of function research that created this virus?
I think it did, not only from NIH, but from the State Department, USAID, and from DOD.
I'm out of time. Thank you very much.
Department of Defense? Hello? I think that's really interesting.
It's unbelievable that hasn't been played by everyone over and over and over again. But once you bring the Department of Defense into it, they were weaponizing the COVID virus, and heaven forbid the public finds out about it because it backfired. And this is the reason you don't do this kind of research, because of what happened. Over 1 million dead people. Thank you very much, DOD. Over there in the Pentagon that can't even be audited.
Well. Okay, I'm going to push back on the 1 million dead, but okay. Yeah, I don't know if a
million.
million.
I'm going to just assume there's a million dead.
Yeah, but I don't think they're all dead from
Not
COVID.
the U.S. dead. I'm just a worldwide.
Worldwide dead. Okay, because the number is 1 million for the U.S. That's what the
no,
number
I don't buy that.
Okay, no, you don't have to. It's free. Now,
I'm not buying it.
A note to our end of show mixers. I'm going to give some. I'm going to agree somewhat with my partner here. You have gotten too comfortable, lackadaisical. We can do better. Step it up. I know everyone. Yeah, you're kind of right. You're kind of right. But I'm still going to play every single submitted end of show mix because they're still very creative. Everybody's so creative.
Even though there's not a mix among them.
We thank Dee's Laughs, Tyrannical Lisp, Tom Starkweather, and Maddie J. And coming up next on NoAgendaStream.com, the Millennial Media Offensive. Just stay tuned to the stream. Or if you're in one of those modern podcast apps, you can stay tuned to that. And until the next time we meet, coming to you from the heart of the Texas Hill Country, FEMA Region number 6. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I'm looking out the window and I'm waiting for the atmospheric stream to hit. It's already 3 hours late. I'm not expecting much. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Sunday right here on No Agenda. Until then, adios, mofos, a hooey, and such. A lot of accounts, first-hand accounts of people saying that it has hijacked their nervous system. They have no patience with the people around them, people they love, their spouses, their children, their co-workers, that it makes them jittery, and they're just...
What's the need for podcasts at 1.5 speed, taking in more information than anyone really needs? Advertising sponsors running out of money. NPR itself is cutting 10% of staff. It's not funny, 30 million. The grand scheme is a big dilly. Looking at those watching cable TV unironically feel silly. Not exactly funded by the viewers at home. Sitting in a rocking chair, all alone. Maybe surrounded by loved ones in a home. Watching reruns, YTV, Phil Guerrero on the zone. Shout out PJ Freshfield for allowing me to roast 2 years ago. What a thrill. BB said the thrill is gone. Only when we leave God out the equation. Filling God-shaped holes is what the people now are facing. Look around on the TV stations of these many, many nations.
Talking real fast.
Well, you're talking really fast like this.
Yeah. But understand, but clear.
The problem is not listening to the podcast. The problem is the rest of the world. That's the problem. You can get depressed if everyone's slow and not moving at your speed, and you can get
driving nuts.
Anxious. Yes.
We are entering the era of the megalopolis. No, it's not a dinosaur. Cities around the world are merging as they grow and spread, forming super cities connected by urban sprawl. The largest megalopolis is in China. It's known as the Greater Bay Area. It's a merger of 11 cities, including Hong Kong, Shenzhen, and Guangdong. The Greater Bay Area is home to more than 70 million people. It generates 11.6% of China's GDP. In West Africa, a megalopolis is taking shape that could be the biggest of them all. It's almost 1,000 kilometers long, made up of 9 cities in 5 countries, from Abidjan in the Ivory Coast to Lagos in Nigeria. Experts say it will become the most densely populated region on the planet. And that's why our unelected overlord Bill Gates is so concerned about population.
The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion.
Especially in Africa.
So it's in the very poorest places that you're going to have a tripling in population by 2050.
That's why Bill is using mosquitoes to spread vaccines all over the world.
I brought some here. Let those roam around the auditorium a little bit. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience.
Because we can only save the planet if...
Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look.
Brought to you by the World Health Organization, spreading vaccines everywhere.
You're almost done. You're almost done. You're almost done. One more. Almost done.
Right. You know, you lose your credibility that no matter what someone does, you criticize it anyway. Masks have done a great job in preventing COVID. Now we must do a great job in preventing crimes. Stay safe. We've got so used to the mask that we don't realize there's a large volume of people that are wearing it, not because of COVID, because they're criminals. Make sure that you wear face covering. Remove your mask, and you can put it back on. To have a doctor state that to remove your mask for 6 seconds is you causing a health crisis. I mean, you lose your credibility. This is a responsible way to ensure that we deal with those who are wearing these masks because they are committing crimes. Remove your mask, and you can put it back on. And it's not lost on me. It's not lost on me that I don't see a mask on any of you. It's not lost on me.
This is the final battle. They know it. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. This is it. Refugee numbers are through the roof, and spies and terrorists are infiltrating freaks. No other country wants them. Videos of 13-year-old carjackers and 14-year-old hoodlums viciously beating their victims. They kill people without retribution, and we house them in the Waldorf Astoria. Junkies, Marxists, thugs, radicals, and dangerous, out-of-control monsters. Refugees that no other country wants. People want to know, can we all get along together? And I would say no, because the globalists, open border zealots that say, no, he's going to bring us into World War III. And you're going to have World War III, by the way. You're going to have World War III. If something doesn't happen fast, you're going to have World War III. I'm the healthiest man ever to be president by far. If I wouldn't eat junk food, I'd live 200 years.
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA